And we are back. It's another Thursday, and we got Cliff here in the house. So, everybody, let's welcome everybody to another episode of Comic Book Spectrum here. And I want
Howdy.
to
See you
start,
now.
yeah, I want to start tonight's episode from where we left off last week.
Oh, I just opened a whole can of worms.
Well, no, you didn't open up a whole can of worms. It's just that you and I are looking from it from the production,
We're looking at
the
it as creative.
insider as far as the industry is concerned here.
Yeah,
Cliff is kind of like a little bit more on the outside of that as a fan, as a reader, as
it's a collector.
collector. How do you truly feel about said layoffs that had occurred?
Honestly, I knew you were going to ask me, and I was
Uh-oh.
trying to think of something profound or, you know, intelligent to add, but I really don't got anything.
We
I
were
mean,
profound or intelligent. We
I'm
were
not
just
looking
loud
for
and
profound or anything. I was looking for honest.
Yeah,
I
we were
want
just loud
honest,
and
you
angry.
know.
my honest reaction when I read it was they got another new CEO, and they're taking a bath on Disney Plus subscriptions right now. So of course people are going to get fired.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to fire more people at the comic book level than they are people at the studio level. Just because the moment that Marvel Studios became in-house at Disney, the importance of the comic book house went down greatly because all they wanted was the movie IPs. They're keeping the comics around because they want the IP farm. So of course they're going to start firing people left and right when it's time to make cuts. And I kind of like, I mean, what was it? 2 years ago, 3 years ago, DC laid off a bunch of people because Time Warner and Warner Discovery was happening.
Well,
So
that was more Discovery than Warner.
Right. They merged. They had a new head of. They had a new head dingaling, and it's like we spent a bunch of money on this merger, and we got to look like we're trying to save money. So we fired a bunch of people. I thought the one at DC was a lot worse because they fired a lot of more relevant people.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing against the people that got fired at Marvel. Um, I did, and this is going to make a lot of people probably that are friends of mine that may listen to this that are editors a little upset, but a lot of the book editors at Marvel and DC are kind of redundant because they have an overall group editor, and then that group editor has an editor above him. So, of course, Daredevil's editor of Daredevil is going to get fired
Mm-hmm.
because I'm using this as an example. I know this isn't the thing anymore, but whatever umbrella Daredevil's under, like when he used to be under Marvel Knights,
Mm-hmm.
that editor's still there. The editor above him for that section of the Marvel universe is still there. So it's like we got rid of the bottom person in the chain that tells this poor writer and artist what to do. That's it's nothing. I mean, it sucks for those editors, but I mean,
It also sucks for the book because
it
this
won't.
editor got them to produce a book that sold 300,000 copies.
Right. But
So
he didn't get
it's
the
not
credit for
like
that.
they worked
The
for free.
whatever group editor Daredevil's under got the credit for that. You know, just, it sucks, but it's no different than look. I cannot tell you the individual editors of all the books at DC. Up until they started firing people, I could tell you all the group editors. I could tell you who the Superman group editor was, who the Batman group editor was, and then I can tell you what the editor that was above them. So it's like, of course, the bottom one is going to get fired, and the creators, they're worried about their jobs, but they're not as worried as they used to be about them because, okay, you fired me from. I'm just pulling a book out of there. You fire me from X Force. Okay, I'm not doing X Force anymore. Fine. I'm going to go work on my creator owned book. through Dark Horse, through Image, through ABCD, and make more money because Scott Snyder, who is probably the highest paid creative at DC, openly admits he gets more money off of Witches that he did for Image than he did writing Batman. So the creators are like, if they fire us, I'll go write that story I always wanted to write because I have name value now for being on X Force. I'll get more sales. Win for me. But I never understood the whole idea of it, but it's always been people in charge of comic books that don't know comic books. Even all the way back in the Golden Age. And because I was thinking about it and I do not remember his name, but the founder of Fawcett Publishing, he wasn't a writer, he wasn't an artist, he wasn't a comic book guy. He was a dude who knew you could make money off of printing these funny books.
Yeah, but at least they had more respect for the creatives. You know, Louis Mayer was a butthead, but at least he knew at what point to back off the directors and the producers and let them produce the product that made him rich.
But that's also the same time frame where they paid $138 for the rights to Superman. That's how little they thought of the creators. Jack Kirby died almost in poverty.
Mm-hmm.
Jack Kirby. So no, they didn't care that much about the creators back then either. And we're talking about Jack Kirby died in the 90s. So that was, it's been forever. They don't care. They care about pumping out the product. Image pretends to do a little bit better because their whole gimmick is they're for creators by creators. But they run each other through the mill left and right too. No, I know that's their tagline, but it's not that way. It wasn't that way when they founded it.
Well, it never was that way. But the thing that always I come back to is that unlike back in the day, we both on the creative side and those who indulge in the hobby are constantly being lied to. When Disney bought Marvel, Disney came out the gate saying that Marvel will have its own autonomy. They will never fall up under Disney control. What ended up happening? It fell up under Disney's control. Because the bottom line is that they wasn't writing Marvel a blank check. They wanted Marvel IPs to succeed to maintain that bottom line for they could buy other properties, because Disney's ultimate goal was to become a IP farm.
Well, I mean,
that's the reason why they was buying up all these other studios. They were trying to help Marvel Studios regain a lot of the IPs that they farmed out to other companies. This is why they bought 20th Century Fox. This is the reason why they was having such a hard time and eventually came into the deal with Sony to get the Spider-Man stuff back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's every corporation now. They're all trying to become IP farms because they don't want to make anything.
Well, it's not really make anything. They want to maintain something.
Right.
But what's part of that maintenance though?
It may just be the cynic in me, but when they said Marvel was going to be its own entity, I was like, yeah, okay. Sure it is, because there's no history at all about Disney not stepping on everyone's toes when they buy your stuff. But I mean, honestly, this would be a lot less likely to have happened if oh my goodness, I'm blinking. Kevin Feige, whatever his name is. If he didn't pull the studio away from the comics and make them separate.
Yeah.
Because when they went into Marvel, into Disney, they were together. But Feige didn't like Ike Perlmutter, or whatever his name is. So the first chance he got to break away, he did. And then it became, we have the studio. As long as a bare minimum of comic book is still going. We get the IP. Who cares?
It's not about
Who?
who cares. It's not about who cares. It's more along. It's more along the lines of
I'm talking about from Disney's point of view.
No, I'm looking at it from Disney's point of view. It's like Disney is looking at it from the point of view. It's like, yeah, we got all these IPs, but there's maintenance that comes into play. You have to keep these IPs, if I could say, on in the mainstream. You got to keep people talking about certain characters and certain things. Because yeah, you came out with the Avengers, but if you don't come out with another Avengers movie in 10 years, nobody's talking about it. It disappears. Same thing with Black Panther. Don't come out with another Black Panther movie, it disappears. Black Widow, don't do anything with her, disappears. This is one of the reasons why they constantly, it's like, this is one of the constant reasons why Sony has been harping so much about their Spider-Man IPs, because they did not want it to give it back over to Marvel. Because why? They did their Spider-Man movies, and now they tried Venom. Venom got some popularity, so they've been pumping out Venom movies. They tried Madam Web, it failed. In some ways, it kind of failed, but they were trying to pump out movies to keep the Spider-Man franchise in people's minds, because you have to maintain it.
Yeah.
Well, they were
and
also
that's
doing
the real problem with Disney. Disney does not want to maintain. And part of that maintenance is the comic books. They have to maintain those comic books, period.
Well, they were also trying to pump out the Spider-Man movies for the same reason they were pumping out all the X movies. It's where the rights wouldn't go back to Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were, ever since they made that deal, they were trying to get out of it. Because they made that deal, what was it, when they were in the middle of bankruptcy? So they've been so yeah, that's the other reason they stayed on top of all that, because Sony was smart. Like, I'm not giving this up. We make money off of this. So that's why. I mean, I know some people liked them. That's why all those X-Men movies came out. Boom, 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 and no one cared at the studio if they were good or bad. They just wanted to keep the rights, and that's why we had like 24 of them, and they were. I personally didn't like any of them. But I will admit the first one or two were the better of all the rest of them. And then they started doing the time jump shit. And I was like, I gave up on that in the comic. I'm not watching a movie that doesn't understand it.
No, they didn't do a true Days of Futures Past, but what they did was X-Men First Class.
Mm-hmm. And I was like,
and people complained because they didn't do the original 5.
Mm-hmm. And I also complained because I hated that in all the movies, instead of being in their cool costumes, they were all in these ugly leather daddy outfits. And then all of a sudden, here comes Grant Morrison, and damn it if they didn't have him in the books. And that was it. I was done. I want my yellow and blue Wolverine and my looks like a lollipop Scott Summers.
Wait, you don't want your mustard and orange Wolverine?
I like the mustard
orange and brown Wolverine.
I like that mustard orange and brown better than I did Wolverine and the yellow.
When I started reading X-Men, he was already in the orange and brown costume. So to me, that's the classic costume. Even though I know the blue and yellow.
The blue and yellow is the classic. Was the original.
Yeah,
but yeah, so that was
me. Yeah. So when they changed it back, I was like, whatever.
But that's to me is the real problem with the corporations owning these things, because they only looking at maintenance. In their eyes, they see that keeping up the comic side is not a winning venture. It's not making them money. Because why? Because they're not getting newer people into the comics, because they don't know how to market it. They have no clue. They have no clue whatsoever.
Their audience. They don't respect that audience enough.
See it differently.
Well,
I don't see it as they don't respect it or that they're not trying. I see it as they don't know how to bring it to the new generation. They still do traditional marketing in comic books. They still do traditional marketing. I watch AEW, and when they come up, when KO was happening, it was all over Warner Television.
It was all over Warner Television because it was 100% Warner across the board. It was Warner's AEW. It was Warner's DCKO.
People
However,
don't watch that. Don't
however,
watch
let's
cable
let's
anymore.
go one step further. When was the last time that you seen a Bubblicious ad in a comic book or a Snickers bar? They
Actually, I
stopped
saw a
doing that.
Snickers
They
one
stopped doing
yesterday.
that. All the
Yeah.
So
ads
I had
is
a Snickers
only
one in my book yesterday.
related to whatever corporation is whatever corporation ad that they're going to have here. So they only advertise themselves.
Well, it's but then again, that's the way of the beast, though. Everything is doing that way. Advertising is shrinking because media has become more disposable than it ever has been. Like last week, Joe, you were talking about how Disney kept Mickey Mouse in everybody's face by putting out re-releases of DVDs and movies all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have to do that anymore because it's on Disney Plus. It's streamed now. They do not care. Like we make $10 in a ham sandwich off of making a DVD that costs us $8 in a ham sandwich. So, but we can spend X number of dollars and put it on streaming and never do it again.
I
But,
will
So they've
say,
learned they don't
here's the problem with that. Like I said, the caveat, because they not redoing what was originally done, even if it's on streaming. If they put it on streaming, it's not a active entity that they control here. It does
No,
not
it's
affect
just-
the licensing behind it, which means that it falls off of the whole copyright list when it hits its maturity.
But I mean, that's going to happen anyway because look, DC right now is busting their ass trying to keep Batman and Superman because 2038 is coming really fast. And they're pumping out stuff left and right, but they're still scared they're going to have Steamboat Willie horror movies about Batman and Superman.
But they're
will be
not
fun to watch.
they're not in the same boat as far as the Siegel family or Bill Finger family, because they're the ones that really going to lose out in 2038, not DC. DC still has the rights to produce whatever they want.
it's
The
those
Finger
original-
family, Schuster and Simon
Simon and
Schuster, they're the ones that are not going to see their original incarnation of those characters anymore, because once 2038 comes to play, their copyright of that original design goes away, unless they figure out and write a brand new deal with DC, and they have to use the original designs.
Yeah, which DC is trying to do, because I've looked at the reason I think they're trying to do it is not because of the movie, like the Mickey Mouse one. I just think that's funny. They don't want the next mutant that shows up in the X-Men to be Kal-El. So they're scrambling to try to get that done.
You worry about the next mutant being Kal-El. I'm up here more worried about all of a sudden, in Invincible, here comes Kal-El.
I'm any of them, but they're more worried about Marvel than they are about Invincible.
I don't think so, because there's too many of the newer IPs that has the liquidity to buy it.
If they were more worried about the new IPs, Homelander wouldn't have shown up in DCKO. They're not that worried about it. Marvel is always going to be the big bad in the corner.
For at least in DC's eyes, maybe.
Yes. Well, that's what we're talking about. Is DC. To me, I don't care. I mean, I don't want a Marvel version of Superman. I already have seen that. It's called Hyperion.
Yep.
But
thank you.
I don't. Good job. Among other ones, I don't care. But I mean, from a standpoint of being a fan, I don't want them to dilute the stuff just to say they did it. But when it comes to the way things are distributed now, it's also different. And this happened in the early 2000s, I think. The moment that they changed the and I'm trying to think of the correct word because I just lost it. Syndication. The minute they changed the syndication laws, they cared less about pumping out product because they didn't have to. it used to be you had to have like 26 or more episodes of a season before it could go into syndication.
Yeah.
Now it's between 8 and 13.
Which is
So it's like all we got to do is all right. Perfect example, the show on Netflix that my girls watch, The Amazing Digital Circus. There's 8 episodes of that. It's going into syndication.
with
Last episode's coming up in 2.
Mhm.
It's 8 or 9 episodes, and the last one's coming up in like 2 weeks, and the creators are already like, we're out because they don't have to produce more episodes. They've got their 8, maybe 9. I can't remember the exact number, and they can go into syndication if they wanted to. They can market it for DVD release now,
Mm-hmm.
and it will make money in
They got
perpetuity.
they
for
got
them.
the proverbial season now because of the new
So they
syndication
don't.
law.
And if they're doing it that way, these bigger corporations who pump out, however many shows Disney pumps out, that they only have 8 episodes of, they're like, this is all we need. Why do we need to keep an entire animation studio? We can farm this out for 8 episodes and make a boatload of money off of it. Especially when we own the studio, we own the television network it's going on, we own the distributor that it's going to. All right, we have entered the era of the bare minimum, and that's what we're going to do.
And it's sad because now since you mentioned it, I think about things such as Squid Games was their season 2 was split up into 2 separate sections of 6 episodes each, and they consider each one of those 6 episodes a season by itself. I was like, no, the whole 12 is the season because you stop midway. And they stop midway for they can have the proverbial mid-season finale. And I was like, there's no such thing as a mid-season finale to have another season. Stranger Things did the exact same thing in their final season.
The first time I ever noticed the mid-season finale thing was with Supernatural and with The Walking Dead. Because
but
The Walking Dead
Supernatural, I believe there was, for some reason, it's just the way that everything fell.
Mm-hmm.
They started midway in one season and it crossed over, and then you had all of these other events such as sports events and all this other stuff that kind of impacted.
Right. But that's when I noticed it the first time. But then when The Walking Dead came along, that was it. There you had the mid-season. Mike and I, because we were big Walking Dead fans until I realized this really is just a bunch of hype. This is some shit. We always thought it was funny. The mid-season finale was in October around my birthday, and then the continuation of the series was in around February and Micah's birthday. It's like,
right, because they're
not doing
all these different things that they wanted to put on during the Christmas holiday, because they consider that Christmas from Thanksgiving to Christmas prime television watching time, and they didn't want people just to sit there and watch Walking Dead, and that was during the time that Walking Dead was still on AMC.
There was also during the time when they still made holiday specials,
and you could sell part 1 of season whatever at the store, and then turn around and sell part 2 of season, because they did that with Doctor Who, and BBC pissed me off when they would do that. But yeah, so it's the bare minimum. All right, 8 episodes, and we can release it in the wild. Done. What, we're making money off of it? All right, do another 8 episodes. And with the comic books, we have 4 editors that all tell this one creator what to do. We'll get rid of the bottom, because the one at the top's got seniority.
It's even worse.
Let's get rid of the senior VP of marketing. He's been here long enough that we can give him a gold wash and pat on the head. Send him out.
They also dumped some senior editors.
Right. I'm just using that one as an example because I know which editors were gone from certain books. And if they came up here in my face and said, hey, I was the senior editor, not the editor, I would say, I'm sorry, sir, but again, you're one in the line. I don't know who you are.
So, but I still feel this way when modern comics and these modern publishers start moving away from ongoing series, and we got all of these shorter run series that runs, sometimes no more than 12 issues, just because it's easier to collect.
Mhm.
I knew comics were in such a bind where they, like you said, the bare minimum.
Mhm.
If we could tell a story in 4 issues, let's go ahead, collect it, sell it as a graphic novel.
Mm-hmm.
That way we could cut the number of copies we do for those 4 to 6 issues down to this number. And
Mhm.
if it really is popular, we could make money off of 3rd, 4th, and 5th printings of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you can blame Vertigo for that, because that's the entire idea of writing for the trade came from Sandman. When they saw how many sales they would get of the trades and how many libraries were fighting to get copies of the trade, it was like, this is all we need, and this is how we can stay in the bookstores, man. Everything's written for trade now. To hell with this one-shot book. And so it's been that way since Vertigo hit big. And I mean, it's another reason to kick Neil Gaiman in the nuts. Sorry, Mr. Gaiman, you've done some bad things, but I enjoy your comic books, but you need to get kicked in the nuts.
I volunteer to do it. On behalf of all women, I volunteer to be the kicker.
On behalf of all men who like to do some
Jack
weird
Bauer
shit,
boot,
I'll
the
do
Jack
it.
Bauer boot from the Boondocks. I'll be okay with that.
Please, let me do it.
We can all do it at the same time. I mean,
Woo! Or better yet, we can just strap him to a board and just let people pay $1 for the opportunity. you
Now, see-
know how you have the kissing booth? He's on the kicking tree.
now see, now you've gotten into an area that he'll like it.
See, that's the reason why I had to stop my mind, because the first thing that I thought about is like, I wonder if somebody could invent something like a football tee that we could set him on, and then people just get a line, just take one at a time, and be like, have a set of goalposts on the other side. It's like it's like, try to see if you can kick a field goal. That's it.
Sadly, Joe, something like that exists. There are some people into some really weird stuff.
Oh wow.
Just
Yeah.
because, as I explained to my children, when they get to a certain age,
Mhm.
the further the human race gets from having to worry about stuff eating us, the more bored we get. And the more bored we get, things fall into one of 2 categories. Can I eat it or can I hump it? And everything falls into that, somewhere in those categories. So
And if
everything
they won't
that
let
you
me
can think
hump
of
it
is out there.
willingly, I know where there's a place where I can find instructional videos on how to drug it and hump it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so there are things like you've described.
Specialized football team be like, okay, everybody line up. $20 a pop. We're going to set the field. We're going to set the actual goalpost 40 yards away. Have at it. First one to get it through might get their money back plus some. And we give bonus money for those that could double doink.
But also a lot of the firings, it's not the same, but in the corporate mind, it falls under the whole, well, we don't need a senior VP of marketing for the comic books. We have a senior VP of marketing for distribution already. So they're getting rid of what they see as other positions they don't need, without thinking about the fact, well, shit, now we just doubled the workload on the guy who's under distribution.
Yeah.
So that's a lot
more
of
than just that.
Yeah. Well, it's like
the guy that knows the history behind the books and all the other stuff and how they're supposed to be distributed. The people who know the companies and stuff that the people who know everybody that's supposed to be on that arm of the distribution here.
Right. Well, like when DC had their layoffs, they fired I'm trying to remember his name now, but they fired a gentleman who was in the department of marketing and distribution that
Mm-hmm.
he has spent the last 25 years as the one who does all of those retailer summits.
Mm-hmm.
And he knew all the retailers, and he knew this guy pulling one out of my ass. The dude from Mile High Comics, man, Rich likes his stuff to come in on this day, and he'll do this much, and I have to talk to him on this date and this date. That guy's gone
Mm-hmm.
because they had somebody else who did a job similar. Because they don't see it that way. They see it as, oh, it's the same job, and we just combined.
This is what happens when you teach people to think in terms of widgets or units, and then you dehumanize what produces those things. You know, they dudes was able to burn down a warehouse because they cut the staff down to nothing, wasn't paying them anything, cut them next to nothing. So he was able to get in because they didn't have the security, because they cut them down to next to nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was able to get in and say, hey, let me burn it down. Because what should have been in place, they were just like, well, and it's like when you don't have boots on the ground experience,
Mm-hmm.
In the military, back in Nam, they used to frag what they call boot loots, officers who, the minute they graduated college, went to boot camp, officers training camp, and then came out with a lieutenant,
Mm-hmm.
and had no combat training or anything, got shipped off, and for some reason thought it was smart to lead from behind, because the old guys, it's like, yeah, but the old guys had actual experience being on the ground, so they understood. That's why they're in a position where they can give you the orders, and you're supposed to see them carried out. And you're not thinking, you don't know the terrain, you don't know the language, you don't know the people, you don't know the history. And you're sending a bunch of teenagers out there, and you're not even going out there with them. You're not double checking to make sure what you're being told is correct. And folks are getting dead, or they're getting worse than dead. And then you wonder why you wake up and somebody put a grenade in under your cot. It's they had too many young men with no real experience out there pushing on things they had no understanding of.
The saga of Lieutenant Dan.
Well,
That's all I come back down to, and a lot of the stuff that Elaine was saying was a lot of the stuff that they taught us at the Air Force Academy. It's like when you started really working with master sergeants and the higher up NCOs, it's like they would look at you as like, we don't care about rank. We know what we're doing. And if we have to, we will go above your head. So you have to understand. Listen to us based upon experience.
Especially since you got some idiot with a fine arts degree.
Mm-hmm.
Because it didn't, you would go to ROTC in college, because the military would pay
a history degree.
and get a history in literature, music, whatever. And because you went to ROTC, it's like, oh, the government's paying for this.
Mm-hmm.
And then you graduate and it's like, okay, now you owe us 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And you had people with no real training, high schoolers in ROTC, get more training than some college kid does. In ROTC, and it's unless you go to like West Point or something like that,
and that's a 5-year commitment.
and that's a 5-year commitment. And then you get in and you think, well, I got a college degree. This master gunnery sergeant barely got out of high school. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I got me a high school degree. It's like, baby, shut up. Sit down, shut up. Because that master gunnery sergeant has earned all of these stripes. And he started at the bottom. They forget these master gunnies and whatnot. They started at the bottom as privates and had to work their way. They didn't just get up and apply and boom, they were a master gunnery sergeant. Too many of these guys think, well, I'm an officer. I came out an officer. It's like, no, that guy had to work from the bottom up. And you see it a lot of times, like I said about this factory. You have too many people coming out, boom, I'm on the top, and you're not listening to the guys who have had to come up from the bottom and are trying to explain to you, this is how it needs to get done. You don't trust in the people who have worked their way up and gained their positions via experience. But because you've sat in some class and talked about widgets, you think you know everything. When you don't know, as we used to say, your butt from a hole in the ground. And you see this in a lot of studios. Us real Tolkien fans, we are now cracking our asses up because for the past couple of years, the Rings of Power, and why Amazon, whoever is pushing it at this Amazon, really hates Tolkien, or they really hate Peter Jackson and what he managed to accomplish. And he couldn't have got this done unless he went and did it in New Zealand. If he had shot that in LA and they had facilities, he could have shot it in LA. They could have shot it here stateside, but he was smart. He's like, I'm going to take this to New Zealand because it takes you forever to get here. By the time you get here, we've already got it done. Thank you. Rings of Power. And I have watched for the last couple of years influencers in the Tolkien world walk this interesting little tightrope because they really didn't like the series, but they wanted to get the access. So in order to get the access that Amazon was getting them, in other words, when they were the beginning of every season, they have special viewing dates and the influencers get to come. And if you talk enough crap about the show, because it is crap, you don't get to come. So they have to walk this tightrope of acting like they're not all over the show, but at the same time, they throttle their criticisms. And now, after 2 seasons, they've finally begun to say, you know what? Show ain't working. And it's only gotten worse. You know, because, and as I finally heard Goyston get up, of Men of the West finally get up and said, it runs more like an angry satire of Tolkien than actual Tolkien. You know, because it's like, and the excuses, Amazon is like, we can't use the actual trilogy or The Hobbit. It's like you have sections of the Silmarillion you can use. And even if you can't use that stuff, you still need to have people who are in your writer's room who have read it. So you don't get things that tick off the actual Tolkien fans like Elrond kissing Galadriel. For people who don't understand the importance of that, Galadriel and Celeborn are the parents of Celebrian. Celebrian was the wife of Elrond and the mother of his twin sons, Eladin and Elro here, and Arwen. So her getting up and getting down with her future son-in-law at a time when she was supposed to be married. Anybody else getting how this is all screwed up and why us actual fans are like, we out?
But that's across the board in not just that particular series, but in a lot of modern series. People are not respecting source material anymore. They don't care.
Well,
Because again, they have people who are controlling the checkbook, making those difficult calls that they shouldn't be making, nor do they respect the original source material, nor care to go back and read the source material to make certain that it works the way that it is. They only in the pitch room to say that sounds cool, I want to watch that, and if it's something that they don't want to watch, then they're going to put their foot down. Like, well, I'm not going to pay X, Y, and Z now.
Well, the thing is, and I will say, Yoiston finally quit drinking a damn Kool-Aid and said, yes, there are things that Peter Jackson did in the movies that are not in the books. There are characters that were in the book that were not in the movies. That's because the movies are each the full cut movies. Before they were full cut, they were close to 3 hours anyway at the theater.
Mm-hmm.
I have all the extended versions, which were each about 4 point something hours. There's just, even with all that, there's still no way to keep the movie moving if all of a sudden you have to add Tom Bombadil, or here comes Glorfindel, who gets Frodo to the other side of the river, whose horse gets Frodo to the other side of the river, and then he disappears from the story. And everybody's like, well, who the hell is Glorfindel? And why did he do it? People forget Bakshi because they're like, well, he didn't put in Glorfindel. Bakshi didn't put in Glorfindel. What Bakshi did in his Lord of the Rings, he put in Legolas. Legolas is the one that comes up on the damn horse and then puts Frodo on the horse and sends Frodo off with the horse. So it wasn't even, and everybody loves Bakshi's stuff. They don't bitch at Bakshi about it. It's like, well, at least they kept it somewhat close to home, and they were trying to figure out, trying to give Arwen more agency within the movie, within the time they could. Because it's like, we got Liv Tyler. We need to use her ass for more than like 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
We need to give her something.
Okay.
But it was still, he's, as much as that happened, he at least, and the reason those movies cost so much, they hired folks who were Tolkien scholars to work with them on that script.
Mm-hmm.
They had Amazon, the same guy who worked with Peter Jackson, Amazon, when they first set out to do Rings of Power, they hired him. And halfway through the first season, he was like, no, I'm out. I see y'all later, bye. Because he realized y'all are going in directions that have nothing to do with the stories. And it's like, why? And what writer is so stupid that you would sign on to something and then be told you can't use the source material? It's like, fine, you can't use that part of the source material, but you still have to understand what you're doing a series about the foundation of those books. The Silmarillion is the foundation of Middle Earth. Okay. And so when you screw it up, when you ignore what's coming after, and you just say, well, we should, Galadriel should be kissing Elrond. It's like, you just wiped out. You just wipe stuff out. No, thank you. Screw it.
Go ahead.
There are 2 things there I want to unpack.
Okay.
First one, I understand this stuff about the source material and people not respecting it. but that's been going on forever. Have you ever watched the old Captain Marvel serials from the 1940s?
Mhm.
No,
Yes.
There is
Oh,
absolutely
that's even worse.
nothing to do with the source material in those. He uses a Tommy gun, and there's something about a goddamn scorpion every other episode.
Mhm.
So the thing about the source material has been going on forever. That's not a new phenomenon.
no, but back then you also didn't have influencers who knew the source material. I'm not talking people who just jumped on and became influenced because they were watching that series. I'm talking about people I used to
But back
follow because
then,
they knew the books as well as I did and were like, oh, okay, well,
yes,
if
but
you give me
back
access, I
then,
won't yell at you.
in the 1940s, they didn't need influencers because the circle was so small. If they really wanted to go by the source material, they just had to go next door to the publishing house where the comics were made, and they didn't. So it's been going on forever. And it's with using the Rings of Power and the movies and the cartoons as an example. That is showing a growing, a shrinking world. Back then, when the cartoon movies came out, there are probably people who bitched about them the way they bitch about the Rings of Power, but you did not hear about them because you couldn't pick up your phone and see them. Now you can. And you Elaine specifically, because you are such a big Tolkien fan, you were in the bubble of other Tolkien fans, so you hear all of that because you can only listen to that now. We've developed that ability. Just like I can go on the Jack Knight Starman Facebook page and hear nothing about except how great Jack Knight is all day long, and ignore everyone who hates the book. Our world has gotten so isolated in the information age, we don't have to listen to other people's opinions about it if we don't want to. And if we do hear them, just like the flat earthers, there's more than one of us, so we're still right. And also with this goes to both those other points. Michael Bay. You guys know who Michael Bay,
Oh,
the
I
guy who
definitely
did
know
the
who
You
Michael
know who
Bay is,
Michael Bay
and we're not
yeah.
talking about
I'm
no
making
Transformers. We're not talking about Transformers.
honestly,
We're not
I'm
going to talk about
honestly just
Transformers.
using his name because I could not remember it was right, and somewhere in my head I wanted to say Christopher Nolan, but I'm glad we're all on the same page. Michael Bay said the exact same thing that the people at Marvel did when they started the movies. If every comic book fan, every Tolkien fan, every Transformers fan did not go to our movie or did not view our Amazon streaming show, it would not affect the bottom line whatsoever.
Which is true. That part is 100%
And
true.
because of that, Michael Bay is a perfect example because he was given the keys to the kingdom of one of the biggest franchises ever.
True.
And he did whatever the hell he wanted to and screwed up the names of half the damn Transformers because he didn't take enough time to figure out who they were. And it did not matter. They made a bajillion dollars.
Do you understand why it made a bajillion dollars?
Because they said Transformers, and there are enough people our age who buy stuff that say, hey, I remember watching that when I was little. I bet you Jimmy will like that. I'll take Jimmy to go see it.
And that's why I took my kids because my youngest
I don't remember enough.
It's a
I
little bit.
never followed Transformers after it went off the TV, so I don't know if anything else is still happening with it. I don't know if this is going on, but I remember Optimus Prime. Let's go see it.
my
Just
youngest
like
loves Bumblebee.
like with the comic book movies.
He was more than correct on his statement for one reason and one reason only. Michael Bay understood his audience, which is moviegoers. Tell me a moviegoer that would go into a movie thinking that, oh, I'm going to see a movie based upon source material. No, they go into a movie just to be entertained. Period. Flat out.
That's
Bottom
why they
line,
don't care about the source material.
they don't care. They don't care. They just want to be entertained for, anywhere between 1.5 to 3 hours. That's bottom line.
And
Give
there's
them
also
something
the
that
whole
they want to
standpoint.
entertain. And if if it so happens to be based upon something else and it piques that person's interest, that's a byproduct.
Mhm.
That's one of the things that I've been saying on my Saturday show for the longest. And why, and I'm going to pick on Watchmen at this point. Watchmen is one of the few movies that cover the greater majority of the source material, minus some of the stuff with the comedian. It
Yeah.
covered the greater majority of that series, and moviegoers hated it, while comic book readers loved it.
Mm-hmm.
The reason being is because moviegoers could not understand it. They did not understand the source material. They wouldn't understand the source material. They couldn't have understand the source material. They have no knowledge of it. So when they see it, they got confused. We comic book readers knew exactly what was going on.
Well, I
Mm-hmm.
hadn't read the books until after I'd seen the movie, and my oldest got up and said, "Well, you really need to read the book," and then got me for my birthday one year my own copy of Watchmen.
Mhm.
And it's like, and I have to say, my estimation of the movie went down a bit. I really loved the movie, but it went down a bit once I actually read the book. But then it was like, that is such a dense book. There is so much going on. There are so many freaking threads um, that if you try to take all of that and pack it in, you would have had to do it as more than one movie. There's no way you could have packed all of that in into one film without people going, I don't know what I just watched.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And that would end up happening with Watchmen.
you
That's
know,
why I was happy with V for Vendetta, even though I knew for a fact I read all of V for Vendetta before going into that movie. And then when I saw what they did, I was like, you know what? It's not bad. They took some liberties with a lot of different changes, but they covered the bare, the basic
they got
concept that was
the
in
core of
V
the
for Vendetta.
story remains. And
Mhm.
that's what I'm saying with the Rings of Power. That's why Amazon can't figure out why Vox Machina has become this hit and Rings of Power, but because of what happened, they committed to it where that money was spent before those 3 seasons even hit the airwaves. They're kind of stuck getting that third season out. They don't have. I guess they're kind of stuck in a way. They have to produce it because they've spent so much of the money ahead of time. Um, but it was it when you're at least keeping enough of the core. And like I said, this was something that Yoyston and those guys are now beginning to admit. It's like, yeah, we had questions about the Peter Jackson films, but he at least kept the core of what it is. And that makes all the difference. It's not just enough that it looks like Middle Earth and it feels like Middle Earth and whatnot, but you also have to keep the core of what makes that story special. And when you don't, that shows, you know. And now it's like, and Amazon's like, well, why are these people leaving? Why is viewership dropping? It's like, because there are enough people who started picking up the books because they heard enough of us screaming, you don't know what you're talking about, pick up a damn book. And going, oh, the part that they're collecting, the part that they're covering, the hobbits don't come into play here, except for this little bitty part, and they haven't covered that. They haven't covered the War of the Witch King of Angmar yet, and that's when the hobbits themselves take a spot within the greater scheme of Middle Earth. You know, um, they are working. I will say, Andy Serkis is. Oh, for those of you who don't know, they have started. I'm throwing this in. They have started The Hunt for Gollum. Andy Serkis is directing, but Peter Jackson and them are still the group that's they. Peter Jackson is keeping his hands on the tiller. Um, and Andy is the guy who made motion cap what it is in regards to the performance end of it. Um, and those of us who know it are kind of happy, but at the same time, we're a little sad because Viggo Mortensen is not coming back as Aragorn. They've gotten a new Aragorn, and I get it. He's aging out, and he's probably looked at that and went, no. Just because of what it requires of him physically to do. And there are actors who, will let them digitally de-age them for a role. And that's just not Vigo. That's not who he is. So they've hired someone to play young Aragorn for this.
Well, Cliff, will you allow me to indulge in one thing real quick?
Sure.
Because I think this is going to help prove your point. I think it's going to help prove your point here.
Okay.
And here's the question that I have for Elaine here, and this is one of the things that helped me avoid a lot of arguments with people who just like television and movies when it comes to source material. Are you able to watch Rings of Power without relying on your Tolkien knowledge?
Hell no. I haven't watched. Once I started learning about what they were using and what they were doing, I have not watched more than 2.5 minutes of that show. And it's like, I hope I don't meet any of those people in real life because I'm going to jail for murder.
Okay, because the reason I bring that question up here, because you brought up, the reason why the ratings are slipping. I don't think the ratings are slipping because of those who know the lore. I believe the ratings are slipping because those who don't know the lore are not being entertained one bit.
It's sloppy storytelling all the way around. It is sloppy storytelling all the way around. And those of us who have seen the movies and love the movies, and I liked Ride of the Rohirrim. I think the fact that Philippa Boyens took what was basically a paragraph and worked it into a decent film, did a decent job. And whenever girls ask me about getting into Tolkien, it's like, yep, start with that. Because I've heard girls go, well, they don't give the women enough to do it. It's like, write it or Rohirrim. Read that, understand it, and then get into the books. And you've heard me say before, because I've heard people go, well, I can't read the Silmarillion, the language. It's like, if you can read a King James Bible, you can read the Silmarillion. Shut up and sit down and read. Okay? If you can.
It's the King James Bible.
Huh?
Who reads the King James Bible nowadays? Nobody. That's why they can't read the Silmarillion. Nobody reads the King James Bible.
I've read.
Well, that's another point, because everybody moved to all these other versions of the Bible.
That's why I can read Tolkien, because I grew up reading the King James Bible. I grew up reading.
The Secretary of Defense just quoted Pulp Fiction and thought it was actually from the Bible. So I don't want to hear nothing about people reading the Bible no more.
But the main point of asking you to allow me to indulge here, Cliff, is that I saw your point. I saw your point as Elaine was explaining why the show was failing. It's like, let's take that step back. It's like, it comes back down to what I was telling Elaine a couple of weeks ago about the Underdog movie, because we were talking about Underdog as far as the cartoon series. It's like, there was an Underdog movie that had nothing to do with the source material. Yeah, they had Shoeshine Boy. He did turn to Underdog. There was a Polly Purebred, but she was not. The dog is like, it was just another dog that was liking Shoeshine Boy, and it was a whole different story. They did have Simon Bar Sinister, and they got the right person to play Simon Bar Sinister, but it was nothing like the cartoon. And I told her, it's like, because it was nothing like the cartoon, I have a feeling that she wouldn't like it. But if you could remove all the stuff from the cartoon series and take it for what it wasn't that bad of a movie. It wasn't that bad. It was a good, hour and a half to go with, to go to see with kids, and that's it.
Yeah. It's the thing, like with the Marvel movies. Those Marvel movies weren't made for people who grew up watching the cartoons or reading the movie, reading the comic. That's why my sister, who used to make fun of me for reading comic books, the other one day was trying to mansplain the multiverse to me because of the Doctor Strange movie. That's who those movies are for.
Oh, I think my heart just broke a bit. I'm sorry.
And then she took it a step further because she also was trying to explain to me why Wanda Maximoff was more powerful than the Phoenix because of the movies. It's like, I'm going back to ignoring you for the next 6 months.
I was ooh. I just,
and now she go ahead to tell you that Captain Marvel was probably the best movie ever.
No, now nothing against anyone sitting here or listening to any of this, but my sister is one of those red hat people. So she hated the Captain Marvel movie. She hated the Black Panther movie. And she hated all the newer movies because they were too woke. So
how is Black Panther 2 woke?
Because because it focused on Black folks and the white folks were ancillary.
I had a friend of Micah's husband.
You're in Africa. When will people understand that colonized Africa is not solely them?
Go.
That's why it's too woke.
One of Micah's friends' husbands got on a conversation with me about Marvel movies one day and told me that his least favorite was Black Panther because it was too African. These are the people that we're dealing with here.
Unfortunately.
Okay, just like I've had arguments with people before the Infinity War came out, who argued with me that the yellow Infinity Stone was in the Green Lantern movie.
And I guess Sinestro had it.
Yes, that's why the big bad in the Green Lantern movie was yellow, and the Infinity Stone is yellow. And I was like,
I think I may need to go throw up.
No. I'm just laughing right now. I'm trying to laugh to hide my tears.
That's the level of people that these movies are for.
Got it.
And more power to them. They need to be entertained too. But yes, when you start telling me Black Panther is too African and trying to explain the multiverse to me after watching Doctor Strange, sit down.
I'm just up here. It's like, in their eyes, how are you supposed to tell a Black Panther movie? How are you supposed to tell the Black Panther story if you can't talk about Africa and the people of Africa?
Okay. To put us on a more positive note.
I'm ready to go there. Okay. I'm ready to go there because let's take a look at Fantastic Four First Steps. You want to tell me that was a perfectly fine movie as is, knowing good and well the time frame that they set it in, which was 50, somewhere between the tail end of 1950s, early 1960s, and how everything with worked, the atmosphere that it was set in. Now, the one thing that I'm glad that some of these people who want to say that things were too woke, I'm glad that they didn't pay attention to a lot of the background characters and everything, because it was a decent movie. But because the characters that they used, I'm up here like, wait a second, if we're going to go on a cultural aspect of it, you should be taking that step back and be like, oh, why are you feeling that this one is okay? But when we talk about the culture behind and the main character of this character over here, you have a problem with it. That's your own bias.
Oh wait,
That has nothing to do with being woke. That's your own personal bias coming into play.
just so we're on the same page, you're talking about the Pedro Pascal movie, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I heard,
and he was a very good, very good.
I haven't read it. I haven't
He was a
watched it
little
yet.
bit too towards the mid to the end of the movie. He was a little less confident in himself than Reed Richards is, but it went with the story. So my biggest complaint, aside from the Silver Surfer being a chick, was yes, Sue Richards is one of the most powerful people in the Marvel Universe. She's not knocking Galactus backwards.
No.
That was
She
one of my
does
biggest
have the ability to do so, but yeah, you're right. She's
was
not just
Reed-
at will knocking him backwards.
And
No,
it was
I mean, like-
Reed who convinced Galactus not to go chomping down on the Earth. If anybody who has read that comic knows that it was Reed matching wits with Galactus who got him to go, oh, okay, you know what, I'm gonna let this go. Though I will say one of a great comic, and I think it's a Fantastic Four that appears in, is when Galactus decides that he wants to chomp down on the home world of some of our favorite baddies. He goes to, what's their name? They got the three chins when they're not.
What, you talk about the scrolls?
Yeah, when he goes and chomps down on the Skrull home world, and they drew a beautiful Queen Skrull. They actually drew an attractive Queen Skrull. And the following month there were so many people writing in the whole letters to the editor page was just, damn, y'all made a decent looking Skrull for once. Way to go. But did you have why is it you have to wait till you destroy the damn planet to give us a pretty Skrull? Come on. You couldn't have done that before?
You confused me a minute because you said some of our favorite bad guys, and then you said the Skrulls.
Sorry, they were some of my favorite bad guys reading Marvel and stuff. The Skrulls, because they had, the Skrulls had their stuff. Sorry, I was mispronouncing. I'm old.
And that is true. One of the only reason Galactus listed is because of the Ultimate Nullifier.
Yes. Now,
which was Reed Richards.
Would the original Galactus trilogy been as impactful as it is still to this day without Jack Kirby's weird ass visuals?
You couldn't get away with Fantastic Four without relying on Jack Kirby's visuals, or just the machinery that he came up with. You couldn't do it.
Damn, right. I mean,
but saying that to say, it's like people in their small-mindedness. It's just like you have to look at it from the standpoint your biasness versus what is actually there that makes the story what the story is.
Right. One of the best explanations I heard, I was reading an article, and the guy who wrote it had interviewed a guy because he wanted to. All these people who are now claiming Star Trek is too woke. And and he said it boils down to a young man he talked with said he watched a classic series and he didn't care about the morality tales and all of that. He just wanted to see the Klingons, he just wanted to see the Federation and the Klingons and them throwing down with each other. He didn't care about the bigger issues. He just wanted to see the ship fights. And I'm like, there's a whole bunch of other stuff you can go watch. In other words, he also, I'm sure the guy didn't put it in the article, but I'm sure he also said, I want to see Kirk, bedding all these women. And there was a part of the fandom early on who that's what they watched the show for, who was going to be the hottie of the week. And they actually did one of my favorite old Star Trek satires is they make, is that Kirk is pronounced make out king of the galaxy.
Mhm.
Because he can't go nowhere where he ain't sleeping with something.
Well, it's like I don't lose my head a lot over this stuff about, well, they did this and this because whoa. Because that going by the definition of what most of these people who throw that around like an insult say it, I'm woke and I'm perfectly fine with that. I could give a shit less what these people think.
It's why we love you.
But it's like some of the hills they choose to die on, to me, it's just ridiculous. Okay, I personally do not like when they take a character like Wally West and swap his gender or swap his ethnicity for the TV show. I don't like that personally, because I've taught students who were disheartened when they realized, oh, Wally West is really a redheaded white kid.
Mm-hmm.
That bothers them. So I have a problem with that. But I'm thinking about when the Titans show came out and everyone was pissed off that Starfire was an African American chick. And I'm like, dumbass, they're not taking the job away from an orange skinned alien. What do you want?
Thank you.
I'm more mad about the fact that her costume in the show looks like she came from the lunch shift at the strip club. That's what I'm upset about, because I know they have a budget, because I'm looking at Hawk and Dove. This is just stupid. So
it was so stupid because they had her teamed up with a quote unquote gangster faction, and when I say gangster, I talk about mobster.
Mm-hmm.
And she had to look the part as the main guy's girlfriend before she kills him and takes over.
Yeah,
However, like that doesn't work very well, but at least we eventually got the Starfire mentally, so that we became accustomed to from all the Titans book. But in the very beginning, it was just like they just did not know how to write her into the series. It's like they didn't know how they didn't like. I didn't like how they wrote Dick Grayson in this series.
No, because out of all of the Robins, Dick Grayson is at the bottom of the list of Robins who's going to say F Batman.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even as Nightwing, he's not going to say that.
So yeah, there were bigger things to be upset about in some of these shows and movies than the stuff a lot of people got upset about, and that's my issue with it.
And to me, people don't understand what is truly woke and what is not.
No, like if you look at the classic Superman stories from the 1930s and 40s through today's lens, Superman was woke as hell.
Oh yeah.
And if you say that to certain people, they will get offended. They're like, no, he wasn't. Truth, justice, in the American way. Can you even spell what you just said to me?
Okay, truth, justice, in the American way, but look at how he says this over here in the 1930s, and was considered patriotic.
Yes. Yes. Oh,
hello. McFly. Anybody in
there? That's a hill that I don't mind dying on, but I don't want to have the FBI showing up at my house for talking about it today. So
yes, yeah. I get it.
On a slightly off-topic note, but it has to do with IPs and all this stuff. I don't know if I've talked to you about this, Joe, but do you know what Amazon is looking at making to be one of their next shows?
Mm-mm.
Oh, please.
After the success of The Boys, they started going through Garth Ennis's catalog, and somebody saw Crossed.
No. Why do they want to show that type of violence and massacre? Who going to greenlight that type of violence and massacre on a constant basis?
I don't know, but I saw that when I was scrolling through my phone, and I about choked on my coffee because I was laughing so hard. I was like, this was just
Right.
somebody who went on Wikipedia and looked up Garth Ennis and saw that word, thought it was cool.
If they have not read that book, or at least one issue of that series, oh my goodness, my head hurts now. Not to say,
Yeah.
not to say is a good or a bad series. That series is definitely not for me because it's uber violent. This, and again, to me, that type of story gets into that biasness that is like, yeah, when biasness gets unchecked, this is what happens. This is what really happens.
Yeah.
For any of you who have never heard of Crossed, if you have seen The Boys and thought that was raunchy and a little over the top,
You ain't seen nothing yet.
no.
That's just them, Amazon coming back and saying, we need a horror series. Let's just go ahead and grab Red Room. I would be like, why? How are you going to get Red Room through the censors?
Mm-hmm.
That's the same way I feel about Cross. Like, how are they going to get Cross through the censors? They're going to have to water that bad boy down, really water it down.
Because to any of y'all who don't know, The Boys, the TV show, is not near as bad as the comic.
Okay.
And if they actually go ahead with Crossed, there are going to be a lot of people who are clutching their pearls and crying, but they ain't seen nothing.
Yeah, I don't have any
They'll be
girls on.
clutching
One
their
of my
pearl, crying, and I bet you all the attendance at Sunday Mass, whether you're a Catholic, Baptist, wherever sect of religion you are, will increase because Cross will take you over that line and be like,
yes,
I gotta be
my
cleansed.
favorite one of my favorite panels from across the comic. I saved it on my phone and I send it to people through text to bother them. Is one of the people who are infected with the crossed virus is buggering a dolphin standing in the middle of the ocean. And I send it to people all the time because it makes me laugh every time I see it because he's buggering a dolphin in its blowhole while crying for his mama.
That's the type of stuff that you see.
Oh,
That
goodness,
was just a
no.
throwaway panel in the book. So
Oh, man. Okay. Okay. Well, something a little more family friendly. The Mandalorian and Grogu is hitting theaters May 22nd.
Oh, okay,
And
that's good.
and
I just remembered. I finally saw No Way Out. No, not No Way Out. No Way Home. I finally
okay.
saw it.
And my sister has decided that I am going to have to take my youngest to see it. And I am in a bit of a bind because that same I'm not going the opening day. This is going to be a heavy month because for those of you who are in Chicago or can get to Chicago on the 22nd, the Field Museum of Natural History is opening its Pokemon Fossil Museum. They have family night on the 22nd where you can come in with your kids. It's a family event. It ain't cheap. Uh, but it's only if you don't want to do the late night family thing where you get to come in and do a special tour and have a little, camp out there. It will be going on. I don't have the exact date of when it's going to be over, but smart money would say pick a weekday when you can when if you're a Chicago resident, get in for free and then pay the money to get into the exhibit, or find the day when it's just not as many people and maybe it's a little cheaper to get in and go see the exhibit. Also, for those of us Critical Role fans, and I am happy to say that Critical Role took a when Amazon came to them with cash because Critical Role had already had the cash they needed. Um, they took they took a lesson from the guys at Pixar. So Amazon can't mess with their IP the way they mess with other people's IPs. They took some lessons from Pixar and put things in their contract that Amazon can't screw with them over. The new season, the second to last season of Legend of Vox Machina, starts June 13th on Amazon Prime. They just released the official trailer for this coming season. It looks good. You can find it on YouTube. Just look up just go to Critical Role's channel and they have it there. If you're a fan and it doesn't pop into your feed, you can find it there. Or you can go to Sky McSparkle if you want commentary because she got it early. And so she's watching it. But yeah, the only way to get the show, unless they do with what they did with Mighty Nine, is put the first episode up on YouTube. Is you have to have a Prime membership for that, which I know it's I will say my Prime membership is the cheapest thing I pay for in regards to streaming services. Because it's getting. I'm still trying. If anybody knows who to talk to at Hulu, so I can get rid of ESPN, give me a call because the whole reason my Hulu has gone up is because I got sucked into that initial setup where you had to get ESPN if you wanted Disney Plus. All I wanted was Hulu and Disney Plus. And now you can get rid of you don't have to have ESPN, but if you've had that set up originally, they don't let you dump ESPN. So if anybody knows who to talk to at Hulu so I can dump ESPN and cut back on that expense and still keep Disney, please reach out to me because they're driving me crazy.
Well, because you had ESPN, you could have watched WrestleMania last weekend, but you're not one of those people.
I'm not a big WrestleMania fan. I like what you do, but I don't, as I've told you before,
you haven't watched wrestling since the Crusher and when your pop was giving you beer.
Dragging me out of bed at 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning to sit and glug cheap ass beer with him and watch wrestling. And then I discovered Greco-Roman wrestling, and it's like, I'd rather watch this. I'm sorry. I watch it every 4 years.
She likes watching really real wrestling as opposed to dramatic wrestling.
I like watching both, but
I did not watch. That's fun wrestling. I like it.
I did not watch Everyone Presents WWE WrestleMania now with less wrestling. So I'm okay.
I just, like I said, I have so many uncomfortable because it wasn't something I did by choice. This was because he wanted somebody he could drink beer with and watch wrestling. And because my stepbrother was like 8. So my stepmother wouldn't let him drag my stepbrother out of bed to sit and drink beer. But it was okay to drag me out of bed on a Sunday morning to sit, drink beer, and watch wrestling. That was his church. And I have so many negatives tied in because it's like, do I have to drink the beer? Yes, you have to drink the beer. It just...
again, I just have to ask, it's like, at what age was that?
14, 15.
Oh, you were good. You were good because you had with parental consent that was back then within the law.
But it was, I had parental consent, but I had no consent. And that is the part that continues to bug me to this day. It's like, fine, drag me out of bed. I wanted to be asleep. It was the only day of the week I could sleep in. And I get dragged out of bed.
Probably at about like 8:30 in the morning for you could watch the Crusher and probably Gorgeous George go at it.
Look,
And I would have, like I said, I could have managed the wrestling, but it's the whole, you got to drink this beer. It's like, I don't like it. To this day, I don't drink beer. Every once in a while, I might sip at some Harp or, or Bass, which are both Irish beers, because they're more flavorful.
They're more
They're
ale,
more ales than they are beers. But I can't. And it just, the whole, I sit down and the whole thing just starts kind of coming into the back of my brain. And 14-year-old Elaine is like screaming her head off. And it's like, okay, we're not going to bother with it. I'm not going to bother with it.
See, that's what makes me proud of you, because if somebody set a Budweiser in front of you, you'd be like, nope, ain't going to have it.
I can, bend you over and give you a Budweiser enema. You can keep insisting, and I will let you see what it's like to get a Budweiser enema, whether you want it or not.
Do we have to pay for this?
To see the Budweiser enema? To receive it or to watch?
Yes.
I'm not sure how your missus would take that. And
she may pay you.
Oh, okay. Speaking
that
of
was the perfect answer. That was the perfect answer. Yes was the perfect answer.
How's my girl doing?
It's quiet, so somebody's probably dead in the house.
How's Grayson?
They're good. They're good. Grayson has been bugging me all day because she knows today is the day I come on here with y'all. She's like, are you gonna tell them that I started watching the new It movie with you? I was like, no.
The new It series?
Well, we watched it. No, she's finally watching the movies from the 2017, 2019. And she's like, are you gonna tell them?
She's watching the one with Tim Curry.
No, the one she's seen the one with Tim Curry. She's watching the newer ones now.
With the newer Pennywise.
Tim Curry. Tim Curry is my Pennywise. I have met Tim Curry. Tim Curry did a scene of mine. He is my Pennywise. I will die on that hill and take everybody and their mama with me if I have to. But and it's not that I don't like the Skarsgårds. Let me be clear. Yeah. It's not that I don't like the Skarsgårds. I think I think as a man building a dynasty with his sons, they're doing good work. Because hey, the Sheen Esteves class is aging out, as well as some other families. So and Drew Barrymore don't act no more. So yeah, okay, come over, build your dynasty. But Tim Curry is my Pennywise.
Now I've seen Welcome to Derry already, and I'm watching the newer It movies with Grayson. I like him better as Pennywise in the show than I do in the movies.
I've heard people say that. I've heard, because Skarsgård is also, he's the Pennywise in the series, is he not? Mm-hmm. Yeah, they gave him a lot of people like he was the one thing in the movies that they really liked.
I like it. Yeah, in the show he does a much better job. I don't know if he's more comfortable now, but yeah, I like him better in the show than in the movie.
But I don't know. I'm just not into that type of stuff.
Elaine talking about watching wrestling growing up. Joe, you will appreciate this, and no one listening to this will have any idea what I'm talking about. down here in the Memphis area, Saturday morning was wrestling day.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Nothing on earth made me happier than if we had a big storm on Friday night. Because that meant on Saturday morning, the airways were still screwed up enough. I could watch World Class coming out of Texas.
Oh, so you get to watch the Von Erichs.
Yes. Okay. Nothing made me happier. And I was like, it meant I get to watch wrestling from other territories.
Mhm.
See, kids, this was back when we only had four television stations.
If you're lucky.
Yes.
If you're
If you're
lucky,
lucky.
because
If you're lucky.
you have the three major networks on
Mhm.
on VHF, and then maybe one or two on UHF.
That's right.
Well,
And if it
WGN
stormed, you
was
got
also
more
on
UHF
VHS.
channels.
WGN was on VHF, and
Mm.
as was
It's
Channel
Channel
11.
11.
Channel 11. So we had PBS, we had WGN, and then we had ABC, CB, 2, 5, and 7, or ABC,
And that's
CBS,
before
and
we get to
NBC.
UHF, because we had back then 26, 32, 38, which was some Christian channel.
And then
Mhm.
you had the Spanish language ones.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You had the Spanish, you had one or two
Mhm.
Christian channels, and then the
And
Spanish language ones.
and
And
44, which eventually became on TV at 7 o'clock.
Mhm.
yeah,
I remember 44.
32 was where we all got Svengoolie. If you were
Yep.
in the Midwest, we got
The
Svengoolie.
the Rich Cole
Jerry G.
Svengoolie.
Bishop, baby. That
Yeah.
real
The
OG.
the original one before Rich Coles took over.
He's the
Yeah, and
one
now-
that Bette Midler wrote that song for that
Mhm.
we can't find. And I'm gonna just have to get up and send Miss Midler a letter and beg her, please, baby, please. If somebody who knows Bette Midler, send her this tape. Please, baby, please give us that song. Update it. You ain't got it to give it to Rich Cos, but just the fans. We aching for it.
And down here, we had the three networks, and if we were lucky, two UHF channels. And then when it would storm, sometimes we'd get two more UHF channels, but that was it.
So you guys didn't get WGN at
Mm-mm.
all. Yeah, I was about to say
Mhm.
WGN didn't become Superstation Channel 9 until what, the mid 90s, early
Mm-mm.
2000s?
80s.
When did they?
Not
80s?
mid 80s. Mid 80s.
Because when I would go visit family in Atlanta, they had WGN because they had cable.
Because it became
That's
a
right.
superstation right around the time that TBS became a superstation.
Yeah, and
And that was
I
the
love-
1980s.
And then
I loved going out there
PBS
because
started
they had
splitting into
USA
5
Network.
diff-
Yeah, I loved going out there to watch when they had cable because they had USA Network and I could watch Cartoon Express.
I didn't like Cartoon Express because it was so random as far as what they played. But they played a
I
lot of
didn't
good
care.
cartoons. They played a lot of good cartoons, but Cartoon Express was just random, too random.
Well,
for
I
me.
didn't care because down here we didn't get Cartoon Express, so the idea of having cartoons past 8 in the morning on a weekday was just, this is heaven.
Mhm.
So, but
before I
go ahead.
forget, I found the 2 nibs that did not make it into the package for the dip
Oh, okay.
pens. I found them, and I also found an easy enough calligraphy alphabet that the girls can start with.
Yeah, we found a couple of good channels on YouTube for that.
Okay. I meant to ask you, did you guys check out any of the suggestions that I gave you to see if there was anything that you could use there?
I have, but my wife does not have time to look at them yet. So.
Okay. Also, there is a site called Craftsy, CARFTSY. They have people who, there are 2. There's Craftsy and there's Skillshare. Skillshare is a bit more expensive.
I've heard of Craftsy. I haven't heard of the other one.
Skillshare was before Craftsy. And Skillshare is more upper level artist. It's specifically more fine arts and stuff like that. It's you're more at the intermediate to professional level for Skillshare. Craftsy is more for beginners. And if you guys are interested, there are influencers, designers and artists who are being sponsored by Craftsy who have codes where you can get a year of Craftsy for $1.49, for like $1.50. And if the girls want to take, you can watch it, decide which artists and whatnot that you like. And so if you want to give, if you want to add to the girls' art instruction,
Okay.
that's a good place to go. And it's also, at least for the first year, it'll be more affordable
Okay.
as opposed to Skillshare, which is a bit more expensive. I think Skillshare is not cheap. Well,
Okay.
it's not as expensive as some of the other things out there, but though I love PBS has Craft in America, which is a series that John and I have watched together, and I love it. And it's now on YouTube. PBS PBS now has its own thing on YouTube, and they have a PBS Kids thing on YouTube, so you can catch a lot of Sesame Street, the Wild Kratts are there and stuff. So, and my youngest, who has always had a thing for the environment and stuff, because there used to be a thing where whenever we bought anything on Amazon, you could pick a charitable organization where every time you made a purchase on Amazon, they would give so much to charity. And the American Wildlife Fund, which is one of John's favorites because it has the panda as their thingy. We were looking at it, and that's what he picked. And so whenever we would buy something on that, every few months they go, "Oh, you made this in purchase, and because you made this in purchase, and other people made these purchase, we gave this much to AWF," and that made him very happy. But the Wild Kratts are really good. They're fun.
Yeah, we watched that.
The kids, John loves Wild Kratts, and there are times when he'll come in my room and decide, "You need to watch this episode with me." And it's like I was trying to sleep. Watching Wild Kratts. It's fine. It's only because you're 6 feet tall and I can't throw you around anymore. He fights back, But so
did these.
I am trying to look into things for the girls, to find things that they might find interesting that won't cost you an arm and a leg.
Well, I appreciate it.
An interest in it. Like I said, Craftsy, Exo McKenna, and at least 2 of the artists that I follow have thingies with Craftsy, and if they have coupon codes that you put in, and Craftsy will give you a year for like $1.50.
Okay.
So
I will definitely look into it.
Yeah,
we started the girls on I don't remember the name of the app now, but it's they're learning they're taking singing lessons and piano online.
Okay.
So we're gonna see how well that goes before we invest in another anything. So
and like I said, if you decide to do it, let me know. Okay. And I will go to one of the many people that I follow and see who's got the most up-to-date coupon, and then give you the coupon code.
All right. So I will definitely use it.
You can use it. So, because I did say that I would take as active a position as you guys would let me. And so I am looking for stuff out there for them.
Thank you very much.
Because, I love my girls. You better hug Grayson for me today. Yes.
Okay.
You got to hug Grayson. You got to hug.
He gave you that look like you're about to get ready to send him to death. Like,
my girl, because it's quiet in your house. Where's my girl?
Probably smothering each other with a pillow right now. I don't know.
I want my girl.
Okay.
I want my girl.
Well,
they're upstairs. They can't hear me.
Oh, okay. But they're not dead.
He doesn't know a couple hours ago. Upstairs.
So, I mean, anything's possible. Oh,
You know,
before we move on too far, I had a few real quick things I was going to bring up. Because I haven't read much this last week because I'm having issues with my symptoms, so reading's kind of a problem. But I just have to bring up these quick things. If you want to know why or who the greatest character in the DC universe is and why his name is Dick Grayson, read Tom Taylor's Nightwing. It is still one of the most amazing modern books I've read.
Now you
It
see
is so good.
the grimace on Elaine's face was like, no, no,
Look, she can
not
grimace all
Dick
she wants
Grayson,
to.
no.
She
he's
can
just a big
grimace
old
all.
manhole right now. He's
Who
a
cares?
manhole.
He's been a manhole since 1985, and I am okay with that. I am okay with that.
Oh,
He is
I don't.
he is the most important character in the DC universe. That's why Dan DiDio almost was murdered when he wanted to kill him during Infinite Crisis.
I
Tom Taylor's Nightwing
shipped
is
him
amazing.
so hard. I shipped him so hard with Starfire. And then to find out he's just a big old manhole now. It
Well,
just
I mean, he was back then too.
no.
He made his way through the entire roster of Titans and all the reserve members. And sometimes on lonely nights, he'd say, "Well, he went and saw what Garfield was up to." Oh,
Not my
not
Beast
the
Boy.
yeah, man. Look, Beast Boy turn into a pony. Come on, he's all about it. Oh, yeah. Tom Taylor's Nightwing is amazing. Not on.
She got her crying now.
My big thing is every character has their own voice, and a lot of creators don't understand that. Tom Taylor does, and everything he's written so far that I've read, including was it Knights of no Deceased.
Great.
Yeah, I hear those characters' voices. I can't say that about a lot of modern creators, but Tom Taylor understands the characters he writes. When he took over Titans along with Nightwing, Donna Troy is Donna Troy. There's no in between ground with it. Unlike other writers,
You make her sound
looking
like
your way,
Where
Brian
we have the
Azzarello.
question: who is Donna Troy? Donna
Yes,
Troy was
looking,
this, or Donna Troy was that, or Donna Troy
I'm
was
looking
this
your
or
way,
Troy
Brian
again.
Azzarello. Brian Azzarello, you do not know any character's voice. That's why you made the Amazons rapists.
Why do you have to remind me about that now?
Tom Taylor understands it. He knows the voice of Wally West, the Flash. Unlike Tom King, who I will find you one day for Heroes in Crisis, and you will be in crisis.
I will back him up. You in trouble, dude. You in trouble.
Tom Taylor's Nightwing is great. So it's all in collection now. It's all in trade, and I think they have an omnibus of it now. It is wonderful. You should try.
I will have to see if I can get me a copy.
And before I move on to the other thing I was reading, Joe, can't remember if it was on the show that Elaine was on or if it was just you and I, but we were talking about the run up to Amazing Spider-Man 1000 and all the rumors about the history of Peter Parker.
Mm-hmm.
They introduced his cousin in what is it? Is it 26 or 27, whichever one just came out.
Right.
And he is I'm gonna send the picture through the group chat. He is a spitting image of Peter's dad.
I have never seen Peter's dad, so
yeah, and the speculation is because this guy's last name is Crane. So this is apparently a brand new character that Joe Kelly and company introduced.
Which I kind of figured, because again, they can't bring up his original parents again because technically they're supposed to be dead.
Well, no, the big thing, and they're even alluding to it in the books now, is Peter's dad and Aunt May hooked up. So this is not a cousin. This is going to be Peter's half brother,
Mhm.
because you're going to find the rumors going around, and what they're leading you to believe is you're going to find out May is actually Peter's biological mother. So
Why?
because right now they introduced a new super suit alien man named Torment, who is worse than Carnage because he's a serial killer that kills your entire family tree. And the closer in blood relative you are, the more he tortures them. So if Aunt May is his real mom, oh no.
No,
You're getting me to that level of like, what is wrong with modern writers and sticking to lore? Can you not write a compelling story and keep it within the lore, the established lore?
no. I've come.
You know, this
I
is
have
where I
come to believe that they really can't, or they're so caught up in waiving certain portions of their anatomy, um, that they feel like they literally have to whiz on what came before in order to establish themselves.
I mean,
And
I was
then
okay with Aunt May being the golden oldie. I was okay with them, saying that Peter's original mother and father was not dead until they did the story with they killed him off again.
mm-hmm.
which makes no
Well,
sense. Why do you bring
apparently-
him back just so you can kill him again?
apparently,
Well, technically they were in hiding,
mhm.
and
They worked for Shield or something, right?
mhm.
But even
Well,
so, you bring them into his life. He has spent how much of his life without them, and
Well,
then all of a
The
sudden you
greater
bring him back,
majority.
and then
Well, see, the big thing now, apparently, whatever this lead up to Amazing Spider-Man 1000 is going to be, it's supposed to tie the comics more closely to the movie and to what's the most recent cartoon that's on Disney Plus? Is that Friendly Neighborhood?
Yes, that friendly neighborhood
That's Friendly
Spider-Man, but that
Neighborhood.
again, there's no Mary Jane, there's no nothing there. It's like they rewrote a lot of stuff, which makes sense for the cartoon series to be what it is. It's not Ditko Spider-Man, but I look at it as like it's close enough where I can enjoy it without going like that's not part of Spider-Man lore.
Yeah, well, it's about to be because they're apparently going to tie the cartoon in the comic into the cartoon more. So, but
So in other words, 1000 is going to reboot the Spider-Man universe again. So there's not going to be any more ties to Miles Morales and Peter and all this other stuff.
Well, they didn't go that far. They're not talking about rebooting it. They're just talking about, kind of like they didn't reboot Iron Man when all of a sudden he looked like Robert Downey Jr. They're just going to try and bring them more close together. But the big thing they're hinting at is either Aunt May alone or Aunt May and Uncle Ben are actually his biological parents, which makes no goddamn sense, but that's the way they're going with it. And apparently, I never read this, but where's it? A lot of people are bothered by the fact that they already had something kind of like this by Mark Miller called Trouble in 2003.
Mm-hmm.
And they're ignoring a lot of it, but it's almost the same story.
In other words, this new guy read that story and said, "Well, I can do it better."
And Joe Kelly's not a new guy. He's been around for like 1,000 years writing comics.
Well, either way, he looked at it and decided he can do it better. and basically, you know,
Or the Spider-Man group
it's
editor,
just, here comes another one just like the other.
or the Spider-Man group editor who doesn't know anything about any of this was told by the Disney exec who knows nothing about nothing, hey, we want more synergy with the books and let's have something to do with Peter's family. And now Joe Kelly is trying to put it all together. But again, that's just because we talked about it and I saw the article. I was going to bring it up again. Um, the only other thing I've done is, again, going along with, and I haven't read enough of it yet to really say this, but in my feeling, trying to piggyback off of what another creator did, but try and make it your own. I started reading the new Hulk by Philip. Oh my gosh, I forgot his name again. Philip Kennedy James or Philip James Kennedy? No, I'm sorry. Philip Kennedy Johnson.
Okay.
And this new Hulk series is the one that came out in 24 or 25 that led directly into the new Infernal Hulk that's out now. And it's kind of piggybacking off of, honestly, one of my favorite Hulk stories in a long time, The Immortal Hulk by Al Ewing.
The horror aspect of where the gamma radiation is really a source from hell, and he's kind of like kind of like an agent of Satan because of it.
Well,
oh, man.
Technically,
no, if you read Immortal Hulk, it makes sense. I mean, they did a good job with that series.
The Immortal Hulk is amazing. It is amazing. And going by the Immortal Hulk, when the gamma bomb went off that turned Bruce Banner into the Hulk, it tore open a hole in the universe. They call it the Green Door, and it's a portal where everybody who's been, they call it, touched by gamma rays gets sucked into the one below all's realm, which is, the Marvel Universe version of Satan.
Okay.
And so the Green Door is basically like the open door to hell. And as long as there is a member of the extended Hulk family alive, that door is always open because they are the doorway. In the new series by Philip K. Johnson, they're piggybacking off of that a little bit. And I will be 100% honest, a lot of it is beyond my recollection of stuff, but it seems like this dude really, 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 really loved the 1970s horror comics, and he loved the shit out of the Atlas era monster books because this is throwing all that in the book together with the Hulk.
Okay.
My only issue with it is let's see, because they're introducing, so we have the one below all, which is Satan, and we have the one above all, who is Marvel's answer to God. There's also the mother of all, who that spawned both of them, which is kind of like Mother Earth, kind of, sort of.
Sort of. And it looks like they went and pulled something out of Lucifer for that one.
And her offspring, because her other offspring was called the Eldest, which is basically like the first monster.
Okay.
And somehow the events of Immortal Hulk awoke him. And it's adding it. I was hoping it added more to the Immortal Hulk stuff, but it kind of took it away because Joe, you know how we were talking about the whole big thing in the Immortal Hulk is the Green Door, right? In the very first issue of this one, they say the Green Door is closed forever. Like,
whoa,
wait, how? But all of the Hulks are still around. How is this possible?
Yeah.
But somehow, whatever happened in between Immortal Hulk and this one, because there was like 2 other Hulk series in between there. The mother of all, I'm pretty sure the mother of all has stepped in as like blocking the Green Door. So her son, what it ends up being, because series has ended and the Infernal Hulk picked up, is this eldest rips Bruce Banner and the Hulk into two separate entities, and he takes over.
I heard about that. That they're now,
and now he's
separate.
going around awakening all of the monsters, and a bunch of them are, throwaway wannabe H.P. Lovecraft characters, but a lot of them are the old Atlas era monsters. Because like he went to Atlantis and woke up that giant crab octopus thing that showed up in one issue of Tales of Astonish.
Oh, okay.
So it's so far it's been kind of fun to read, but it's like I don't know how much I like the idea that you're piggybacking off of the success of this one book, and then your very first issue you take a shit all over it by saying the main idea from that one's been destroyed. It's like, see, but again, I've only read like the first 7 issues, so I'm not far enough in to see if they elaborate on it.
Okay.
And I get a kick out of it also because the first like 3 or 4 issues all centers around Appalachia, and Appalachian folklore is hilarious to me. I love it. So the whole idea they're in the backwoods and the monsters are coming out of the mines and out of the mountain and stuff. I'm like, man, I know cousins who believe every last bit of this. So,
actually, I found some of those old Appalachian stories. Oh, sorry, Appalachian.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to pronounce it correctly. As woke. What can I say?
The people who live there don't know how to pronounce it, so you're okay.
Some of those old stories.
They just call it hill stories.
Some of those are amazing.
They are great old stories.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So I like that. The thing so far that I don't like, because again, I'm catching up now, so I know what's coming up in the future. Marvel can't leave it alone, and it can't just be a Hulk story. At the end of this year, it's going to go into the Hulk War, and it's where all of the Marvel heroes get infernalized. And I'm like, Jesus Christ!
No, we don't need that. Just like how they did World War She-Hulk, and now they got Planet She-Hulk.
Yeah, it's like you don't have to make
Planet Hulk.
Yeah, yes. Planet Hulk made sense.
Yes.
World War Hulk made great sense.
Yes.
World War She-Hulk.
You don't have to make every storyline an event. Yeah. You can't just tell a good story. Like Immortal Hulk, there were other Marvel characters in it, but it was a Hulk story, beginning to end.
They weren't taking center stage.
No, and it worked well. So I don't like it. Like, okay, I know back in the late 80s, early 90s, putting an X on a comic was a license to print money at Marvel. But they did not have to make every X story an event. And they never learned from that. And that's what they're doing now. And I don't think I can support it, because like I actually bought this giant tome that's the Immortal Hulk Omnibus. Ooh. Because it was so good.
Wow.
I don't think I'm going to do that with this new Hulk series, because I don't want something that's an event. I personally don't like Marvel events. I think they dropped the ball on every one of them. So I'm not going to buy into that, and that's disappointing to me, because this story so far, aside from the stuff with the Green Door, is pretty good. I'm not going to buy the Infernal Hulk War presents Iron Man, or the Infernal Iron Man. I'm like, I don't care.
Got it. Well, so it's 9:00, and before I forget, there is a free comic book day this year on the 2nd of May. So we will be going to First Aid. I'm not going to Graham Cracker this year because
that's too far. That's too far. I even myself, I'm thinking it's still too far for me just to take a day to go all the way downtown, when it's still, for me, it's one bus to get to First Aid to get whatever books that they got, but to go all the way downtown, it's like, Yeah, if I don't catch like the 28 during rush hour or catch the 14, is it really worth going on
Worth going.
the mobile mall just to go downtown for what, a handful of books? And
We'll
then
go.
I also have my ace in the hole here, which is the place that pulls my books. They get free comic book day books, and they normally pull books for me too.
I was surprised that there was going to be a free comic book day this year, and the only reason I knew about it is because First Aid posted, because they got as James usually does, free comic book day. He also takes that as a time to introduce people to comic book artists that normally might not get enough public attention.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
Yeah.
he's had Jibba Anderson and other people doing that, and I forget he's got a guest coming this year. I'm going to take the time to go see him to let him know I've got copies of the book if he wants it, or if he wants to wait until I get everything worked out with Ingram Spark, and then he can order from them.
Mm-hmm.
Free comic book day down here is a hit or miss. My oldest and I, it's a tradition. We go every year to free comic book day, and we go to lunch together.
Okay. Will that happen this year? Even though she's moved?
If it don't, I'm going to disown her.
You will not.
But it's fun. Like my local, my LCS, the one that I keep my pull list out. He usually has a few sales, and he always brings in local comic artists for the shop. But he's stingy as hell with the comics because you're only allowed to get 5 free comics from the free comic table. And I'm like, dude, I'm putting your son through college.
Well,
I should get more than 5 books.
First Aid
then
is
I have
like
to go
that
to the
too.
other.
You only get like 5. I think it's like 5 or 6.
Well, that's across the board. That's kind of like they saying there's not enough books to go all the way around for everybody to get one of everything. So
yeah, so you get like
the shop down the street that I go to on occasion, but I don't really care for the owners. If you go in and you spend $5, you can have all the free books.
Oh, well, see, but that's because you're spending money.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of people will go, like for us, free comic book day is an event. You know, yes. and John goes and he'll pick, if there's books that tickle his fancy, he'll pick those books and whatnot. And we get there a little early. Mm-hmm. So that and there's a line. There's usually a line forms, and you get to talk to people and whatnot. Becomes an event. And if I've got enough extra dollars, maybe we'll hit Mort's Deli, or we'll go to like Subway or something and get some sandwiches. I have never
walked into that place as of yet.
Mort's Deli isn't bad.
You're talking about the deli that's right there on the corner, right?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. They're decent. It's a decent place. Or
what about
otherwise,
the Thai place that's a couple of doors down? Have you had any?
No, I've never. John's not into Thai food, so we don't go. It's usually there, or depending on if I've got money, we'll go to like Subway or Potbelly and grab something, and then take it home, and and people get to eat their sandwiches and read and whatnot. Yeah, and read their books and whatnot. And John will come in and out of my room to show me stuff in the books that he likes and whatnot. So, and then we don't see his books anymore. John is he gets stuff, like my sister will give him things, and if it's something he really likes, it disappears into his room. He's got T-shirts. I have found in his closet, he has got T-shirts stacked on the upper shelf of his closet that my sister has bought him that he has never worn. And it's like, those are his T-shirts. Don't touch. And I tried. It's like, hey, you should wear this. And he just took the T-shirt and went back in the closet, put it back on the shelf. Like, no, that's special. It's not. It does not get worn. And he's like that with his books. He puts his books. They disappear into his room. And you just, it's like, do not touch. This is my stuff. Do not touch.
Mhm.
And my stuff that spills out onto the entertainment thingy, like he's got Legos. Oh my God, you're wearing this shirt. I did that shirt for Joe. That's my art.
That was her promoting one of her titles.
That's from
Mhm.
book, that was art that's featured in book one of
Mhm.
And the Coming of Nighttime. It's a little piece I called Start Something. And it's a girly face, and she's wearing glasses. So you see her eyes, and then she's got glasses low down on her nose. And then reflected in glasses is the werewolf she's staring at.
Mhm.
So she's got the eyes of the werewolf she's staring at back at her. So it's like, yes, that's something, bitch. Come
So
on,
I'm up
let's
here,
go
it's like,
for it.
yep, she's up here talking about t-shirts. I could show her that I am wearing her t-shirt.
But oh, thank you, thank you. But
See, you see
he
how I
just,
try to do the promotions.
I see that. I see that. I is grateful. I is most grateful. But like I said, he gets stuff, and even the Legos that he has that are out in the living room, you don't touch them. It's like you see them, look at them from a distance, but we do not touch. They are holy now. One does not, one does not touch the holy relic, unless you're looking to get smite.
Mhm.
Let's
I
say
could just
smite.
imagine you just going around the house trying to clean up, and you have to pull an Indiana Jones and having to swap out.
It has been like that. I do not go in his room and sweep and mop unless I ask permission now, just in case I shift something. Because he had, my sister was finding the illustrated Harry Potter books,
Hmm.
and she got all the ones that have so far been illustrated that you can get here. Um, and I had shifted them when I put my old drafting table in his room, so he had a desk he could do crafts and stuff at, and color and whatnot. The lower shelf is still on it, so I put his Harry Potter books down there. And oh, he came in and saw the changes that I made. The look he gave me was like, if you wasn't my mama, you'd be dead right now.
Oh wow.
It was like I dare entered his sacred space,
I understand that.
you know, and changed things around. Because I was just trying to, in my opinion, just make it nice. But it's like, he's very specific, and it's like, I don't change when it's time. He will change his bed when it's time to do laundry. He'll change his bed and everything, and put his sturdy sheets in the bag and stuff so they can get clean, and put his fresh sheets on there. But it's like, yeah, he's very. There are certain things you don't touch because baby Grogu and his dragons sleep in his bed, and they shall not be disturbed. And I'm not. Oh my goodness! If I touch the top of baby Grogu's head, that boy will, it's like, he's come close to swatting me, so I can't touch baby
Wait,
Grogu.
swatting your hand?
Like, don't touch him. That's my baby. Don't touch the Grogu. you know and so yes, it's like, yes, so thank you, Lisa, thank you, because now it's become a whole family trip. Everybody is like, oh wait, baby Grogu, Mandalorian and Grogu, yeah, I want to see that. So that's going to be next month. Is going to be busy because Cinco de Mayo, it's free comic book day, Cinco de Mayo, Mother's Day, and then
Well, you heard what they said
Mandalorian
about
and
Pico de
Grogu.
Mayo, right?
What happened about with Cinco de Mayo? No, I
They're
didn't hear
not
that.
having the big event again this year.
Oh, okay. So they're not doing the
The
thingy
the normal
downtown.
parades and all the other stuff for Cinco de Mayo, all of that is gone again this year.
The groups have said it's not safe. Yeah, I get that. I totally understand
Is
that.
that for the reason I think it is, or is it something
Yes,
else? Okay.
frozen folks.
Yeah. Okay.
Frozen folks. So it's
Mm.
they would rather not put on an event that could easily become
Hmm.
deadly.
I
So
understand that.
and so those of us who have hearts and understand are like, you know what, you do you, boo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna make burritos. I gotta, because the family's like, Cinco de Mayo's coming up. So now it's become every year I gotta make burritos. If I don't make burritos on Cinco de Mayo, because that starts burrito season for us. There are certain foods we only eat certain times of the year. So we don't start eating burritos till Cinco de Mayo. I see you laughing over there. Make me walk to your house.
He is trying to hold it back, but he can't.
Burrito season.
Yeah, burrito season.
There's
I
burrito
I don't question it. You see, I don't laugh about it. It's like, okay, burrito season.
burrito
So
season.
wait. How long does burrito season last? And
Oh no, don't go there, please don't.
and
Don't,
it's like
don't question it. Just go with the flow of it.
is it like instead of not wearing white after Labor Day, you can't have salsa after the end of burrito season?
Don't do it. He did it. He went there.
Oh. Let me get John, because let me get John in here to say some words. See, he don't use that language because he would no burrito season starts Cinco de Mayo and ends just either shortly before or shortly after Samhain, Halloween, for those who don't know. Okay.
Taco season, burrito season, taco season, burrito.
They like burritos, okay? And I have to make the burritos, and they like the burritos done in certain ways and
Don't
stuff.
do that to
They
me.
would eat burritos year round if I let them, but I'm the one who has to make the burritos.
See, Cliff, I hate having visual memory or can picture certain things. He just made me picture the whole Bugs Bunny Daffy Duck burrito season, taco season, burrito season, taco season.
The shredded cheese I normally buy from Aldi last year got pulled off the shelves because they were finding things that shouldn't be in shredded cheese.
Mhm.
So now I have to buy bricks of cheese and shred them by hand. And these children like the mix. So now I'm going to have to be dealing with them making the burritos and going, but that's not the mix of cheese we normally get, because they got, they have elevated palates and they can tell when mama didn't include a certain cheese in the shredded mix. Okay.
Instead of a confused Elmer Fudd, it's Elaine's family holding a knife and a fork.
Stop. Please stop.
I'll kill your ass. I'm gonna kill you.
Please stop.
As much as I love your Mrs. and Grayson, I swear I will. If I have to walk my ass there, I will come and break a kneecap. You gonna suffer. I'm gonna find a way to do it. You gonna suffer. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Just
you're going to try to make me find the AI platform to actually overimpose that cartoon clip for taco season, burrito season with Bugs Bunny with Elmer Fudd looking confused with a knife and a fork. Like, huh? I cannot picture that now. I'm sorry.
My girls love those episodes of Bugs Bunny, and their favorite line is the one where it's the episode where Daffy goes, "Aha!
I know where I
there
went wrong. I know where I went wrong.
There it is. Do you want to shoot me now or shoot me when you get home? Shoot me when you get home."
But yes, there are certain foods that I only make during certain times of the year because they take a lot of work and they're not necessarily cheap. And I like to have some variety in my diet. Okay? Is that all right?
That's perfectly fine.
I
just don't understand why he just couldn't accept it as is. He had to go there.
We just came out of tomato soup and grilled cheese season.
Yes, because that was a winter thing.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Because I grew up at a time you didn't get everything all year round. So there were certain foods you only ate during certain times of the year. you know, unless of course it was sweet potato pie, which is a child you only got for special occasions and you only got little slivers of it. So I was so grateful. Tell the dudes I was very grateful that I got to wolf down. Except I didn't get to wolf down all of it because I brought it home and I gave John a piece, and I had left the piece that I was going to come home and finish. That sweet potato pie was gone, and he just had a smile on his face.
Oh no.
He ate my sweet potato pie. But yes, we have,
He, he probably took it in his room and gave it a shrine before he ate it.
growing up in the 60s in Chicago as a po-black child, there were just certain foods that were more seasonal. You know, you
Like
didn't
like sweet potato pie was Thanksgiving.
sweet potato pie. You didn't get sweet potato pie until November, and by what the end of December, that was the end of sweet potato pie season.
Just like with
You
me
know,
with pumpkin pie. I only eat pumpkin pie during Thanksgiving season.
yeah. So
Right
from
around
November
Thanksgiving. I'm
to
the only one in
December,
that family will buy. It's like everybody else would get the sweet potato pie. I will have like a pumpkin pie to myself.
and you used to only find pumpkin pie in the stores at that time of,
Mhm.
you would only find pumpkin pie from November to at the latest mid-January. After
Right.
mid-January, you didn't
After
find
Christmas,
pumpkin
it was
pie.
just
Yeah,
gone.
pumpkin
Yeah.
pie was not in the stores anymore. So I grew up
Like,
where there were certain things that were seasonal, and there still are. You don't get persimmons throughout the year. You only get
Just like I
persimmons
don't
at
eat
a,
cherry pies after summer.
or
you
like,
know,
I don't know if it's this way everywhere, but down here, at the day after Thanksgiving, half the dairy section is full of eggnog and custard.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
like that. Yeah. Eggnog
Except
is
I
the
have
50%.
noticed, and Jeff told me, and I like you lying. And then I noticed this year at Jewel, there have been times in the summer I've seen eggnog, and
Mm,
it's like, no, my body doesn't want eggnog until about mid-November.
mhm.
That's when I start craving eggnog, and then a week, the first week, by the first week of January, my body no longer craves eggnog. That's I crave eggnog from mid-November to the beginning of January. Then I'm done with it
Mhm.
because my eggnog season is done. You
I
know,
just
to
realized,
everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. To everything, turn, turn, turn. And a time and a place for everything
And
under
now you're
heaven.
making me think about rum raisin because that's usually about the same time. I don't want to even think about rum raisin ice cream and stuff to that magnitude.
just- I just
Well,
realized, Elaine, burrito season butts right into pumpkin spice latte season.
yes, as soon as I'm coming out burrito season, that's when I want my pumpkin spice. Okay, that's when I come out burrito season, and then I want pumpkin spice. Okay, and as
Mm.
I'm coming through pumpkin spice, I start getting that need for eggnog.
All I know is, and I'm going to say this, and if I offend anybody, I'm sorry as I can be, but down here, it's the way it is. These damn white women have ruined Oreos because they had pumpkin spice latte Oreos last year, and I
Ooh.
about flipped my lid.
Oh,
Courtney, Courtney, we miss pumpkin spice. Or we miss pumpkin spice latte Oreos.
yeah, they normally come out. They normally come out in October. I have
Pump,
seen them, and I just left it alone. I just didn't like the idea of pumpkin spice Oreos, and we're talking about the original Oreos, the chocolate Oreos
yeah.
with the
Mm-hmm.
pumpkin
Okay.
spice in them. Not the ones that I eat. I like golden old Oreos and the lemon Oreos.
No, they supposedly, Courtney, pumpkin spice latte Oreos are a thing. They didn't have them at Aldi. This they if they don't carry it at Aldi's, we don't tend to pay
Mm-hmm.
attention to Oreos because Oreos is sacred unto John.
She's happy now.
I'm happy now. I'm happy now.
Elaine, the girl started.
I can't hear her.
Give her the mic off your headset.
It's not plugged in though. Hold on.
I can hear it when you talk into it, so obviously it's working.
It's plugged in. Not plugged in.
Did you unplug it?
Where you could hear it.
And it's working. You got ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
So what are the girls doing?
The artwork that you got in the drawer.
Oh no, now it's not working. What did you
Oh,
do?
so you unplugged it. Now you can
How's
hear
that?
me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, girlfriend.
I can't hear you.
The art book that you gave them, it looked like
Uh-huh.
some people had already sketched in it. Was that
I
you?
had done that. I apologized. I
No,
told
it
them
was beautiful. The girls loved it.
Oh,
But-
okay.
And I didn't know that you can write in the book, so I had them with their sketchbook next to it.
Oh
And
no, they've
Penelope's
got
like,
the
Yeah.
way it is there's the finished piece and the instructions, and then they give you a page that you can work on.
yeah, because the youngest one was arguing with me. No, you can draw in this book, and I was like, don't draw in that book.
No, that's why I sent it, because it's like, okay, this is something I don't have to send an additional sketchbook, because they can work right in the book. And I thought that
Gotcha.
Grayson may like that. So
Yeah, you
that's
had
why I
notes and
sent
stuff
it.
in it. It was gorgeous. And she's trying to do calligraphy now. So Penelope's learning cursive and Grayson's doing the calligraphy.
I found I missed 2 of the nibs I had for the pen set. I found them. I'm going to give them to Joe, and he's going to send them on. And I found a simplified font. It's still
Gotcha.
really lovely, but it'll be easier for both the girls to practice on when they want to start learning it. So I found that I just got to remember to send it so that you can do it. And I was telling Cliff about Craftsy. I don't know if you've heard of Craftsy. It's a great place. It's a website for beginners. You have a lot of artists and craftspeople teaching about everything from knitting, crochet, painting, drawing, stuff like that. But they do it so that it's easy for beginners. And several of the artists and crafters that I follow have promotional codes where you can get a year Craftsy for like $1.50 or something like that.
Oh,
So
nice.
I told him, I told you, Mister, to check it out. If it meets with your approval, I will get a code so you can get the discounted year.
Awesome. I appreciate it.
Because I told him that I would, and I always make sure that he checks with you, that if it's okay with you, that I would do what I can to assist in the girls, at least in regards to literature and art.
Gotcha. Oh, yeah. And
assist. You know,
your work was so pretty that I thought it was part of the book. Until we actually saw your handwritten notes, I'm like, no, that's like what someone did.
That was me.
It was gorgeous.
Thank you.
But yeah, I felt so bad arguing with Penelope. Don't write in that book. But she goes, that's what you're supposed to do. I'm like,
yeah, and like I said, that's why I thought, you know what, this would be really good for the girls because they can practice in the book, and then if they want to do it again, they can then get a book and then start working in a book. But and if you need, Cliff said you guys have sketchbooks for them.
yeah, and I wish they would keep their paper in the book. It's like I have papers all over the place, and I'm a little bit OCD, so it's like this book is for this book is for this, and I don't want it everywhere. Joe,
I've got
do artwork.
Huh?
Are you an artist, Joe? Is that a no?
I'm a combination of a little bit of everything. I was like, am I an
He
artist?
looked at me like, no.
Yeah, it's like there are such things like comic books I actually do produce. So,
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, we both do. but like I said, I got it for myself. I think I got that one from Family Dollar or something. They had it on sale. Um, and I had sketchbooks, and I started doing the stuff in the sketchbooks. And then when we were talking, and it's like, wait a minute, I have that book I started and I never finished it because I was doing things in other places. Why don't I send this to you guys, and that way the girls could have, and they could do like something a week or so, but they would have,
Yeah, they do it
um
on Thursdays now. Yeah.
so they would have something that would give them some training in art, because I
Right.
know even in schools they're really not doing much in regards to, especially it's not till you get to high school. And when I was in school, you had to be a junior to take studio art.
Yeah, we've actually have an art group that the girls are in on
Okay.
Fridays. They don't always meet up, or they'll just go do something fun. Like we went and played miniature golf last week, but I want to have it at home too. So
Well, it's that book is there. So if you want to, make copies of the pages and share them to other parents who have kids that might be able to use them, as far as I'm concerned, that's your book,
right, awesome. I
and
appreciate it.
I will, like I said, I will keep my eyes open for other things. I'm trying to find things that will the girls
I feel
can
like I
use it
need to
where
look.
they are, and that are also affordable,
Mm,
because Skillshare is good. They have a lot of artists and writers and stuff on Skillshare, but that's more intermediate to professional.
mm.
Where Craftsy, a lot of the people I've heard talk about Craftsy, it's like you can be a beginner and it's a lot it's easy to understand. They
It's
simplify it enough.
hard to get Penelope to branch out. She ever since she was little, she does anime characters beautifully. I mean, she was super tiny doing them, but I think she did a leaf today that was in your book, and it was actually nice to see her branch out doing something else. She gets so mad at us because she just likes her little, anime girls.
Dollar Tree, and there are several. I gave him a list of artists that I follow. Several of them do anime style art.
Mm,
Miko it does lovely art using acrylic markers and watercolor markers and stuff. Miko is really good. But there are several artists. I gave him a list of artists. Mark Crilly is a man who does comics and graphic novels and whatnot,
You're
and he
gone.
works in that anime style. Oh, he must have clicked out. There, he's coming back.
okay. I'm
Um,
sorry, Joe. He was
Mark
just like
Crilly,
gone.
he does a lot of really great videos,
You're gone.
tutorials on basic drawing, and he can do very realistic. He can do everything from very realistic to very anime style, because he does that. He's done manga. He does Americanized manga. So I was telling Cliff that he might be someone, and he's done books for kids. And he does a lot of his earlier videos are instructional videos, and he takes you through what he's doing, and he makes it fun,
Awesome.
which is why I started watching him. He makes it a lot of fun.
Yeah, it
um
definitely gets the girls to get more engaged when they're having fun with it.
and that's what I like about Crilly is very Bailey J does work that is very that has a manga type feel to it, the style. But the way she does it, if you're not already an artist, following her alone, it will be frustrating. I'm trying to
Mm,
find people that I'm following that um will make it easy when they're doing their art. But I've also got people on there like Greg Simpkins and a few others who are just really great artists, so that they can see that, oh, even if I have this interest in this, like Wiley Becker is a top art. She is a female artist. She is Magic the Gathering. Believe me, she is all over Magic the Gathering, and her work for Magic the Gathering, chef's kiss. Now her stuff is very advanced, but giving the girls something that they can watch to say, oh, if I start learning this and I have this interest, I can go into this and make a career. You know, so that's why I sent the list that I did, because and he's got the list.
I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and eat dinner now.
I need to go eat dinner.
No, I'm not eating dinner. Somebody finally got me my soda that I asked for, and I was like, oh, I have to go get my soda now before it gets, before people start having second thoughts. So I had to go off camera. I didn't want to scare people to say I'm about to leave, so I just turned my camera off slightly, got it like,
but yeah, like I said, I will be. I'll continue to look. There is a book on manga at Dollar Tree. Dollar Tree in their book area did have a book on drawing manga. I haven't been to my Dollar Tree for some time, so I haven't had a chance to check it out. And the one Dollar Tree I know that will have it is so far north and west of me. That's the better part of a morning just to go there, see if they've got it, and then bring it back. But if I do find it, I will. If I find one, I will get a copy. And the next time I send a shipment to you via Joe, you will get it. If I find it, I'll let you know in the chat.
All right.
So that you can send it. The only books I'm not letting go, but I might get copies for the girls once they're older, are the Alfonso Dunn books.
Okay.
Because he does amazing ink work and whatnot. But they're not quite ready for that. That's a bit ahead of them. But I am looking at I'm looking at materials, trying to find things that I think might work for them later on, but also now. And if you let me know what the girls really like, I can start trying to figure out how to meet them where they are and then expand.
Okay. Joe, I was hoping so much when you came back on camera, you had a burrito.
You are not going to let me live this burrito thing down.
I almost grabbed somebody else's chalupa just to play a prank, but I was like, no, I'm not going to do that.
Ask your missus to come back. Get her back here.
Because I'm not going to do that. Because I knew he was going to say something. If I came back with a taco or something, he would have just been busted up laughing. See, I was like, not something to be laughing about. I understood it. I know not to make fun of it because I understood where she was coming from.
I'm gonna have that woman smack you in the back of the head.
You have to put that image of Daffy and Bug going left and right with an elbow foot, with a plate, a fork and knife, and a napkin tucked into his shirt.
Taco season, burritos. Oh my goodness.
See, Elaine, we may not see the missus again because we've reached that time in Mississippi where it's raccoon season, and they're sitting by the garbage can waiting on us, and she just went out there, so we may not see her till tomorrow.
She's feeding the raccoons?
Not on purpose. She's taking out the garbage.
But we have raccoons
down here.
They will attack her. They will attack her if they see the garbage. They will attack her.
Yeah, here in Chicago,
our raccoons down here don't care.
Are armed. They have little flick knives and guns and stuff. Our raccoons out here are really ghetto. That's how they survive.
We had one that came to the back door and got into the bird seed, and was sitting right there at the window where we could see him just eating it. And this lasted for like 2 hours.
What you don't do?
Well, we went out there and yelled at him, and he just looked at us and moved to the other side of the box where we couldn't see him through the door and kept eating.
Of course, he's like, if you didn't want me to, you shouldn't have had it out here. This is your fault.
Yeah, so weird. That's how we do it down here. We're just like, all right.
Okay. Well,
so the raccoon says, hey, I don't like this view. I'm going to sit in this other spot over here. That's more like it. I'm going to take the scenery over here. That's like it.
Well, when we first started getting them real bad, somebody told Micah if she puts a motion light above the garbage can when it comes on, it will scare them. That's like all you did was give them a moonlight dinner.
The only thing that scares the raccoons out
here
gave
ambiance.
is that when it's a thunderstorm or a heavy snowstorm, you might see raccoons go into their winter quarters.
Mm.
Like the summer quarters for the raccoons are across the street at the other vacant lot. And then when it's storm or wintertime, there's a place back behind us,
Mm.
between us and the other refuse company, where they have their winter quarters. But that's because other than that, they run the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
The raccoons out here run the neighborhood, and they are very, and if you see them, they look at you like, keep going, ain't nothing to
Yeah.
see. I got a weapon. You want me to come over there? Because you will get hurt. These city raccoons, they don't play.
Mm-hmm.
City
Just like
raccoons,
the
they don't play.
coyotes don't play.
Yeah, they're like the city coyotes. Children are learning, just because they look like puppy dogs don't mean that they're, they might look like a doggy, but you don't want to pet them. Do y'all have coyotes out there?
Oh yeah, yeah. We I didn't think we had them here in town, but recently I'll hear them outside. Um, and the girls, they're just like, "Oh, that's a dog I heard." Like, no,
Oh no,
no, dear, that's not a dog.
no. And don't let the girls out early in the morning or later in the evening on their own. I used to live in LA, and the coyotes, like, people had to learn that you had to be careful, like especially around the LA Zoo, because a guy, he was 6 feet tall, a runner. The coyotes didn't bother him at first. Then he bent down to tie his shoe, and the minute he bent down to
Mm-hmm.
where he was not as tall in their eyes, they got it.
Yeah. Well, see, we
Luckily,
also have the.
neighbors heard him screaming and came in and came out with sticks and whatnot, and ran the coyotes off, which is how he survived it. But yeah, people in LA live, because it used to be, we knew things like, okay, the minute we hear there's a mountain lion making its way down Hollywood Boulevard trying to see if it can get into the Burger King, avoid Hollywood Boulevard for the next week or so until they get the mountain lion and settle.
Well, see, down here, the coyotes and the mountain lions have to worry about something that you don't have a lot of in LA and Chicago.
Bears.
The rednecks.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because
that's
they-
dinner. That's
that's
dinner.
either dinner or they think they can make a pet out of it. Because I have a stepbrother who had a pet mountain lion. He caught a mountain lion and put it in a cotton trailer, which, if you don't know what a cotton trailer looks like, it's basically like a flatbed trailer with a cage around it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And he actually paid to have it declawed.
Mm.
And his dumb ass would try to go out there and play with it. I'm like, what are you doing?
It still has fangs.
It still has fangs and it's still 500 pounds. What are you
Yes.
doing?
And a good swipe of its paw will knock you out.
Yeah, but he kept him as a pet. He's like, I'm gonna get me a coyote too if I can. I was like, what the hell? But thankfully, I didn't have to see how the story ended, because we had a storm one night and lightning hit the cotton trailer and fried the poor kitty. So,
Oh.
but yeah,
You may
down
be-
here the varmints are more afraid of the rednecks. So,
Well, we may be getting bears.
I hope we don't get bears.
Bears go.
I'm still afraid of geese, because again, being around, Rosemont and everything, there's a lot of geese, and they have all these different parks that have these ponds, and they are territorial.
mm-hmm.
That, but also, I will say geese do not frighten me. Why? Because when I was in my 20s, I and my ex, she wasn't my ex at that time, we're in Lincoln Park Zoo, and the swan attacked me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what this swan's problem was because there were all these other people, and the swan decided I was its victim. And this swan came at me, and this swan got on me. And before the swan could do any damage, these geese jumped that swan.
Mm.
They jumped that swan and whooped its butt. And the swan left me alone. And the geese just looked at me like, we cool? Okay. And went on. And so I got no
But you
problem with
saw how
geese.
those geese, they come at you not one by one. They come in groups. That's the reason why I'm afraid of geese.
The
Yep.
geese don't bother me. The geese that hang out in Washington Park,
Mm-hmm.
those geese are chill. Now if they think you look too thuggish, they might fly overhead and drop you a few gifts. But for the most
See,
part,
out
those
there
geese are
out there in
chill.
Rosebud, there's like a walkway where they have like a little bitty pond area and everything. And when they gather there, especially when they have their young, they become very territorial. So you cannot walk the normal path because they will claim that normal path. You have to be able to figure out a way to walk around them because the way it works is that once one of you see them in their territory, one will come over there and it will start squawking because they're up there. It's like you get closer, we're gonna you
We will
up.
jack you up. We will jack you up. Which is
And then
why
and it's like most people be like, oh, we're not going to study you. It's like he gave the warning. And then after so long, it's like they keep squawking, and you notice the other ones just start popping their heads up. They look in that direction. It's like it's about to be a war.
Yep.
well, but that's just it. They will at least warn you when they feel you're getting too close to something. They will warn you, which is why the coyotes have learned because there isn't a major park in Chicago that doesn't have one large coyote den in it.
Mm-hmm.
Every major park in this city has a coyote den, maybe two, depending on the size of the park.
Mm-hmm.
And they one of the reasons that the city says it doesn't do anything about the coyotes is because they think the coyotes are keeping the geese down. But the geese the geese have already worked this out. The
Mm-hmm.
geese see a coyote and they're like the squirrels with kittens. Where I used to live, we had a lot of stray cats. We also had a lot of squirrels. And when the cats had kittens, the squirrels would let the kittens chase them around. Like, okay, this is cute. But then there's a point about 6 months into the kitten's development where suddenly one day you realize the kittens are avoiding the squirrels. And my son's just like, I wonder what does this. It's like they pack it. And they'll let the kittens chase them so long as they think the kittens are cute. But there's that point where the kittens quit
Are
being
no
cute.
longer a kid and it's no longer a
And
child.
they
It's even
and
as
they
an
and
adult,
they
and it's like they
hit.
knuckle up and be like, come on.
I pictured it. It's like they got guns and switchblades and brass
Well,
knuckles.
that's the reason why I can't stand geese because, like I said, I'm used to the warning. What I'm not used to is they give the warning and you walk away from and they're following you.
Yeah, because they want to make sure that you don't turn around and come back. This is their babies continuing the species is important. So it's like, okay, you going. It's just like if you go into somebody's territory. They don't know you.
Well, they don't understand. They don't understand public walkway, and that's what they is like. Okay, I'm going to avoid you. I'm going over here. Nope, you keep going. And they're just like, why are you pushing me further and further away? It's like,
yeah, because they want to make sure you're not coming back here until we're done doing what we're doing. This is not for you.
mm-hmm.
And it's like I respect the geese's territory. I am learning to live with nature. I am learning to live with nature. And so I respect the geese. And like I said, these geese have protected me. Rabbits protected me. So,
mm-hmm.
I likes my wild bunnies. I likes the geeses. We respect each other. You want me to come talk to the geese for you?
There's no need. I just want to know. It's like, hey, don't chase me. If I'm walking away,
No,
that I
no,
try to bother you.
you
It's
are
like I
still
got no.
too
I got
close.
no ill will. It's like let me. It's like
There's a
let me be. And
reason.
it's like when I see, it's like, okay, you can't come up and you gave me the warning, and I walk away. You don't keep running towards me. Come up here, you run towards me. I was like, what is wrong?
Because you know what? They know there are certain people, well, they will get you, and you know who I'm talking about. There are certain people do not live well with nature. And when nature's like, this is an area of nature you need to leave alone, they keep thinking, no, so and so I can. And then the next thing you know, they gotta whoop up on them. And then they gotta go back to the boys and go, yeah, the geese attacked me and whatnot, and get laughed at because they're calling animal control. I gotta talk about them geese, and it's like, and then the animals try. What happened?
It's like I have five or six geese attack me. It's like were you over? It's like, and they look over. It's like, were you over there by that pond where they had that young? Yeah, I was on the walkway and this, that, and the other. One came up and squawk, 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 squawk. I just ignored them.
And that's when the geese decided you didn't listen. That's like, and they've had to say, this is like when somebody come in your neighborhood that you don't recognize. What do? And if they don't get,
it's like usually you watch and make certain, and you know let them make certain they go by. It's like that's what I say. It's like once they see me, go in the opposite direction and not trying to go into your territory, I was like, there's no need for them to just keep going. It's like, why do you keep? It's like I'm out your territory. What's wrong with you?
Canadian geese are smart. They know thug culture. They have adopted thug culture for survival, and they're going to make sure this is our hood. You a little too close to the hood. We're gonna make sure you moving. Keep moving. We're gonna make sure that you move out. And understand, they didn't attack you. They just want to make it clear they're escorting you out. Now, somewhere a coyote was sitting there cracking up, going, knowing that, okay, now if I go with them geese ain't gonna let me live. Them geese will rip me to shreds. If I get anywhere within 50 yards of where that human was, them geese will kill me. So that's why it's like the geese out here aren't afraid of the coyotes, because the geese will whoop up on a coyote.
There's too many of them, because they would just whoop the mess out of them.
Yeah, it's like we got coyote for dinner.
It's like with deer. I'm up here. It's like, being in Colorado and seeing the amount of deer that I have seen here. Seeing one, no big deal. But when you see like 3 or 4 of them together, you don't want to anger one of them, because that's your ass.
I only get concerned,
and they don't need a male around them. Not one, not a bit. If they're in groups of like 3 or more, that's your ass.
I have gotten, because we had Lejeune, we had deer. So and they would tell us, mating season, don't we don't go out, we don't do field exercises at certain parts of the year, because this is when the mating season is for the deer, and then this is when mating season is for the bears. So we avoid those 2 times a year. That way you don't get killed and we don't have stuff that get damaged. But it is 9:50.
And she needs to eat.
And the little one is staring at me.
Where's my Grayson? Where's my Grayson?
Not Grayson, Penelope.
Oh, where's Penelope?
She doesn't want to get on camera. She don't like it. But I forgot to mention this earlier. I am sending a trailer to the group chat for what should be the greatest movie of all time. Hungry.
Okay.
Oh, I okay. Yeah, we will see this in a second here. Let me bring it back up.
I'm fixing to head out because I'm going to go see what Penelope
needs. Okay. Let's go ahead and do
that trailer. Is amazing, and y'all need to watch it.
And the reason why it's amazing, because it's a good parody on a classic board game, and it seems to work.
And
What?
it's true.
Hungry
Those
hippos.
things are monsters.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, I saw a short picture. It's like, yeah, hippos. Some of the worst deaths that happen in Africa are on the river because of hippos.
Yeah.
Alligators don't mess with hippos. If they ain't got to the gate, the crocs, yeah, crocodiles don't mess with hippos because hippos will just whoop you up and not care. You know, we all grew up with what is it, the hippo hurricane holler guy. You know, we all grew up thinking hippos were big friendly creatures, and it's like, no, hippos do not play. They will kill you and not even worry about it.
Yes, they are monsters.
Yes.
I'm gonna go see my kids now.
Okay,
I gotta go
well, let's do your thing.
Sign out.
All right. Thank y'all. I hope we entertained you because we entertained ourselves, and that's all that matters. We'll see you next time. Where we'll learn where it will be closer to that great time of year that I now have learned of, and we will learn more about burrito season. Until then, thank you. Come again.
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna so kill you. I am so gonna kill you. Anyway, the uncouth Cliff has left. Thank you for coming. I'm Elaine. Lenscaponline.com is my thing. Come over. Go down to where it says, hey, contact us. Drop me a line. Let me know something. I have copies of In the Coming of Nighttime. I've got about 15 copies. I'm thinking of selling them off the website. If you think you might be interested, contact the system. Maybe we can talk, okay? Other than that, y'all take care. Be safe. Know we love you. We appreciate you coming to see us because, things get crazy here. Peace. Okay.
And that brings that brings you guys to me, where I get to say this episode of Comic Book Spectrum is brought to you by Plasma Fire Graphics. Give Jeffrey Hayes a quick little call here if you got a brand new if you want a brand new cover for your novel, your graphic novel, your comic book. Why? Because you want an award-winning artist that has the skills to pay the bills to get people over to your table to ask you about your next story. And if you don't believe me, then believe this video.
You've worked hard and written a great book. Now it's time to give it a great cover. If you're an indie author or small press publisher, Plasma Fire Graphics is your source for affordable cover illustration and graphic design. Plasma Fire Graphics, when the look of your book matters to you.
You see the type of work that he does? Now give him a nice little message over there at plasmafiregraphics.com or hit up Jeffrey Hayes at Plasma Fire Graphics on Facebook. As far as I'm concerned, I will be back here Saturday. And Saturday, I have a sneaky suspicion we're going to be talking about Slab versus Raws again, but we're going to take a different retrospective on it here because I really want to talk more about this dichotomy of why people are arguing Raw versus Slabs and just not looking at it from the same aspect of what is best for you. So until then, I am Joe D. McPhee here, and unlike Brian K. Morris, who is our founder of Comic Book Spectrum, I don't care if you wash your hands, but never, and I do mean never, apologize for being awesome. I'll catch you here again next Thursday, right here on Comic Book Spectrum. So long, and have a very good night.